Let's begin. The opening move is mine. They call me Bristol, where the only certainty that is crystal is that I will resist all attempts to harness my fury and keep my track in check.
A slugfest at Bristol, Tennessee.
It's your move. Cat and mouse become knight and pawn, pressing on as the latest mind game commences, testing the outer fences, like ambitious rooks in a full-throttle game of chance. All sense of direction is overcome by hypnotic tension of the centrifugal pull toward the balance of foresight, and foregoing all caution to chase down another player in this game of split-second strategy. This is not a game of one big move, but an intricate series of skillful maneuvers with impacts that may not be realized until you see it appearing unexpectedly right in front of your eyes.
Caution inbound. You okay, buddy?
Beware the quickness, respect the confinements, for I have already seen how this match will end, my friend. For most, your endgame will come too soon. For in the end, only one will keep you in check. Mate.
The first day of spring dawned a little chilly in East Tennessee, but now it's a beautiful afternoon as fans make their way into NASCAR's Concrete Coliseum. It's a tiny track with a big personality, the high bank turns creating intense action, and the imposing grandstands adding to the atmosphere. Throw into the mix this time even tighter turns and paybacks among the point leaders, and there's plenty to discuss on NASCAR Countdown, presented by Hellman's, as the NASCAR Nationwide Series gets set to go racing at Bristol Motor Speedway in Bristol, Tennessee. After the opening 4 races, Carl Edwards and Brad Keselowski are the top 2 drivers in the NASCAR Nationwide Series standings. They've been tied together by much more than that in the headlines that have dominated NASCAR coverage since an incident between the two at the Sprint Cup race 13 days ago in Atlanta.
Getting set to go back to green flag racing.
I saw Brad down there, and I thought he'd give me room. I mean, that's his call early in the race to either give me just a little bit of room or keep his nose in there, and I guess he was racing hard.
Trouble on the front stretch. A car has slammed the wall.
I don't like the looks of that wreck. You get on the roof right around the driver's side. And
Brad Keselowski has been running inside the top 6 all day long.
I think this was Carl Edwards' payback for what happened earlier in this race.
To come back and just intentionally wreck someone, that's not cool. And I know that it's a little ironic that it's got me saying that, but at least I didn't do it intentionally.
Brad knows the deal between him and I. The scary part was that his car went airborne. We probably won't have as many run-ins now as we've had in the past, and that's a good thing. Both of us will probably be better off.
After the Atlanta incident, NASCAR placed Edwards on probation for 3 Sprint Cup races and held a meeting this morning here with both drivers, their car owners Jack Roush and Roger Penske, and officials. Afterwards, some of those involved commented.
Well, you have to understand that Carl and I have a mutual respect because, in a sense, we're almost the same people. You know, we come from similar backgrounds and, you know, drive the same way. And, you know, so I have a lot of respect for him that before and after the accident. So, you know, hopefully that will stay the same, if not, you know, continue to improve.
It's really easy to stand back and throw stones at someone and make little chirps and say things that make you feel better about yourself. But in the end, you know, what I said yesterday holds true, is that the people who know me know that I'm a very, very fair person. And I guess if my biggest fault is standing up for myself, I'll take it. They can fault me all day for that.
Jack, do you think that these guys now see eye to eye?
No. But I think that they will give one another enough respect that we won't see another occurrence like that. I think that Carl's not likely to have incidental contact with Brad and cause a wreck, and I think that Brad's not likely to have incidental contact with Carl and cause a wreck in the foreseeable future.
And that is the backdrop against which we welcome you to Thunder Valley and our ESPN pit studio. Inside, Alan Bestwick with 9-time Bristol winner Rusty Wallace and NASCAR team owner Brad Daugherty. These 2 drivers, Edwards and Keselowski, are the top 2 in the NASCAR Nationwide Series Championship. They're committed to running all the races. They're going to be racing head-to-head for this championship for the next 8+ months. So how does all that's occurred from Atlanta up through that meeting this morning affect how they race each other?
It's not going to affect how they race at all, really, Alan. This is completely over with right now. I mean, look, both of these guys have won here at Bristol. They really understand how cool this racetrack is. They both want to win here, and I will promise you, Carl won't be thinking about Brad. Brad's not going to be thinking about Carl. They're going to go out there and get it done. But, you know, going back to that, Carl is the only one on probation right now. It's not Brad, so
right.
Carl's got to mind his P's and Q's just a little bit, but he wants to win.
Yeah, and it will not happen at this racetrack where there will not be any contact between these guys, simply because of the way they have to race here. You have to be up amongst them in order to have an opportunity to advance your position. You have to be very aggressive all day long. They will be around one another because these two guys are going to have a chance to win this race. So you have to move people, and you have to expect to be moved if you're going to run at Bristol.
All right, so let me tie both those together.
Yep.
These guys both have good track records here. They're probably going to be a factor in racing for the win at a track where you're bouncing off each other if they're racing for the win late in the race.
Yeah, and that's going to happen. And what I'm saying is, if these two are the two racing for the win at the end of the race, they're going to bounce off of each other. But if anyone else is there racing at the end of the race, they're going to get together. It's just going to happen. Carl Edwards understands his position with the probation. Brad Keselowski understands that some guys, he's ruffled some feathers. But that's okay. It's all about racing hard. Both of these guys do that.
Brad, I talked to NASCAR about this whole entire situation. They told me, they said, Rusty, we're going to use common sense when it comes to this. If we see Carl get in there and start beating and banging and spinning somebody, if we deem it's accidental, hey, no problem. But if we see him out there targeting somebody and going after him, beating on him like happened in Atlanta, hey, we're going to that's a whole different story. We're going to bring him in. We'll talk about it then.
All right, so against that backdrop, Keselowski qualified on the pole for today's race. Edwards lines up fourth. We hear from both now, beginning with Dr. Jerry Punch.
Thank you, Alan. Brad, a second consecutive pole here in 2010. Now, you're an aggressive race car driver coming to a track known for full contact stock car racing. Yet in 3 of the last 4 races here, you have had a top 5 finish without a scratch on the car. How do you? What's the key to success here?
Well, I've torn up some cars here too, but you know, I've been fortunate enough to have good cars to where you don't have to be so aggressive, and that's a large part of being successful here at Bristol. Thankfully today we have an awesome discount tire Dodge, and hopefully we'll be able to do that.
How did the events of 2 weeks ago at Atlanta impact how you race others, and more specifically Carl Edwards here today?
Well, you know, I felt lucky to have a week or 2 off to really think about it. And, you know, the more perspective I thought, you know, I gained on it, the more I really felt like the actions that happened weren't necessarily a result of aggressive driving or any real repercussions. It was more the result of somebody who was just having a bad day and was looking to vent his frustration. So, you know, I think we've got great cars, we've got great teams, and the support of some great fans out there. I'd be a fool to change anything I've been doing to get to where I'm at right now.
Good luck today.
Thank you.
And don't expect Brad Keselowski to change a thing, folks. His introduction music for today is the old Tom Petty song, Won't Back Down. Dave.
Well, Doc, as we move on to nationwide racing here at Bristol, Carl knows that his team has paid attention to the media, his nationwide team. They're race fans. How have you kept them sort of not distracted by what's been going on to focus on today's race?
Well, they're racers, and I mean, I think that the biggest thing is that Drew and all my guys are racers, and they know that our Copart Fast and All Fusion is priority number 1, and all the stuff that goes on around it is really not as important as how fast we go out here on this racetrack. So I've got a good group of guys, and pretty excited about the race today. The Scott's Turf Builder 300 has been good to us before, and hopefully we have a good one.
And you said that you have 1 win here in the spring, 4 wins total across the 3 series. How confident are you about today?
I feel pretty good. There's a lot of fast cars, so you know, I'd say there's about 5 or 6 guys that are really good. I think Casey Kane is extremely fast, but you know, we haven't had that long run in practice, and there's a little more rubber on the track. So I think this race is going to change a little bit. I think you'll see people run the top, and I just hope we're fast. That's what I'm saying.
All right, Carl is our in-race reporter. Got anything you want to say?
Well, yeah, I will be the in-race reporter. I'll be the one driving the thing, and you actually have that HD camera right in my face. You can go to ESPN.com, search Ask the Driver, Ask the Driver. You can ask me questions, preferably about this week. That would be great, and I'd be glad to answer them in the race car.
Alan?
Very nice. Thank you, David. Thank you, Carl. Later on, we look at a change officials have made to this Bristol track's corners and whether it's going to make for more slam-bang racing today. How important is 3 feet to a driver? But up next, the winningest driver in Nationwide Series competition here, Kevin Harvick, looking to take home a 7th trophy from Thunder Valley after 300 laps. And the verbal shots he and Carl Edwards took at each other yesterday. That and more as the fans get ready for some racing.
ESPN's coverage of the NASCAR Nationwide Series on ABC. Brought to you by the mayonnaise that's real and delicious, Hellmann's, and Nationwide Insurance. Call or visit us online for a quote today.
Welcome to Thunder Valley, Bristol, Tennessee. We're about to have the green flag wave. There is Boyer in the 2-car. Could be for the win up front here. Great battle with weather moving in.
And Clint Boyer has been declared the winner.
Brad Keselowski started 37th.
Done a great job of moving that car from the back of the pack.
The 88 goes by and takes the lead. Keselowski will take the checkered flag.
Awesome job today.
Harvick is very hungry.
It's a great race for the lead.
Kevin Harvick does it at Bristol. His first time to go to victory lane in his own race car.
David Reagan's been battling with Carl Edwards for the lead.
Edwards gets behind Eric McClure. David Reagan has finally taken the lead. That's what I'm talking about, boys.
Well, you saw Kevin Harvick winning this race a year ago in that montage. The Bakersfield native is the man with the most wins in the Nationwide Series at Bristol and has a Sprint Cup trophy in the collection to boot. In fact, Kevin leads most all statistical categories here at Bristol in the Nationwide Series. Now, Friday during an interview session here, Harvick was asked about a comment he made earlier in the week on Carl Edwards' post-Atlanta penalty and his use of the term fake to describe Edwards.
You can't be the nice guy, you can't be the bad guy, and you can't be the bully. So, I mean, that's just how I feel about that.
Now, Edwards, when asked to respond, told the Associated Press, quote, "I have absolutely no respect for Kevin. I think he's a bad person. That's my opinion. I've told him that. We've had our deal before, and his actions through that interaction were so devious and underhanded and cowardly. I just have no respect for him," end quote. Well, Harvick starts 13th today, looking for a second consecutive victory. He won the last Nationwide Series race at Las Vegas, but Jamie Little, that seems like so long ago now.
It really does, and Kevin Harvick getting ready to get introduced. Now, Kevin, we just played words that you and Carl Edwards had yesterday to the media. But with that said, Kevin, when words are said off the racetrack, how can that affect two drivers once they're on the racetrack, especially at a track like Bristol?
We're excited about our chances today, and our Ream Chevrolet's good, so it should be fun.
Kevin, I'll keep talking to you as we jump up here. I talked to your crew chief, Ernie Cope, this morning, and he said he was pretty disappointed how you guys unloaded. He expected to be a lot better, but he made a lot of changes. And with that said, how do you feel the car will race today?
I think everybody was a little bit off with their cars, so we got our car pretty good and looking forward to today.
All right, Kevin Harvick, 5 wins here. He rolls off 13th. Alan?
All right, Jamie, thanks. Now, one more thing tying back into the paybacks and let them race discussion we had earlier. Last time Joey Logano and Greg Biffle were in one of these Nationwide Series races together, this was at the finish.
You know, Joey had led all day long, just dominated that race. Greg Biffle said it looked like Joey spun his tires a little bit. It looks to me like Greg ran in there real hard on Joey. I tell you what, Joey Logano's a great race car driver, but he's got to earn some respect. He's got to turn somebody around and get a little tougher in that race car.
So if Logano and Biffle are close together on the track at the end of this race, should we be up on the end of our seats?
Oh, you better believe it. You better give them your seats. And I'll tell you what, if Logano is in that position, he's getting knocked around. He needs to start paying some people back. He's got the raw end of the deal a couple times now. It's his turn now.
Can't be taken advantage of.
Logano starts second today. Greg Biffle starts 5th in the 27 car. Now, another one to watch today, Kyle Busch. He could have won both of last year's races here if not for bad luck. Last March, he came off pit road as the leader with less than 50 to go.
He was gone, and they lose the tires. You see it roll out. You see the official pointing to the tires, guys trying to get it. That cost him the race.
Ended up finishing 6th after going to the back of the pack. Then last August, Kyle gets up to the lead in 50 laps, and that happens.
Oh, rookie Chase Austin just made a bad mistake, got down into him. Oh, look at that, bam, head on the wall.
And I tell you, Kyle was so gracious after that race by not chastising young Chase Austin. He said it was just a mistake, and it happened. So kudos to Kyle Busch.
Absolutely.
Well, Vince Welch, Kyle could have won both Nationwide Series races here last year. He did win both Sprint Cup Series races here last year. What's he think of his chances today?
Well, Kyle's getting ready to be introduced here, so I'll just poke in for just a moment. Kyle, you had some pretty bad fast cars last year here, but you also had some bad luck. What percentage of winning at Bristol is good luck, and what percentage is good car?
About 100%. All luck. Doesn't matter if you have a good car, you get wrecked. So we'll see how our Z-Line Camry is today. I think it's pretty good, so I'm looking forward to it, and I think it would be pretty exciting.
We know he hasn't had much good luck, but he has won here before. Go back to 2006, and he's had some really good race cars, guys. And tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised to see him in victory lane again today. He rolls off 6th.
I don't think anyone would be surprised to see the 18 holding the trophy at the end of the day. 9 of the last 10 races here have been won by a Sprint Cup driver doing double duty. Our Hellman's recipe for success plays on that theme. Why does Rusty, Mr. 9-time winner, experience pay here?
It's all about having a lot of laps around the racetrack, and the veterans have got more laps than the rookies. There's just no doubt about that. They know what the tires are going to do. They know what the track's going to do. And they also know when to be patient, because patience here is very, very key.
And that is an oxymoron when you say young driver, being patient. You have to be patient at this racetrack, though. But what you see with the young guys is they're going to stick their nose up in there. I talked to Ricky Stenhouse. I talked to Stephen Wallace. And these guys are going to get up and put themselves in good position to be around at the end of the day. If you can stay out of the fray, then you can go to victory lane 9 times like Rusty and I did together.
Yeah, there you go. And Kelly Byers, a guy we want to keep an eye on today, is a young guy who could possibly pull the upset. He starts 3rd in the 88 car. So getting ready to go racing today here in Thunder Valley. They're going to tip it off on the hardwood on Sunday night. ESPN with an NBA doubleheader on Sunday night. First at 8 Eastern, Tim Duncan and the San Antonio Spurs facing Joe Johnson and the Atlanta Hawks. Then at 10:30 Eastern, Brandon Roy and the Blazers take on Steve Nash and the Suns.
Looking good. Steve Nash playing some great basketball. Amari Stoudemire had 44 last night. The Suns are coming on strong.
Hey, Brad, you used to do that too, right, buddy?
I used to put it on them just like that.
Yeah, man.
He used to rough them up too. That's NBA right. Special edition on ESPN at ESPN360.com tomorrow. Coming up next, the move made by this Bristol track to encourage more beating and banging racing than maybe we've seen here the last couple of years. Why 3 feet of space may make this half mile seem a lot smaller to the drivers. That coming up when NASCAR Countdown presented by Hellman's continues from the world's fastest half mile in Bristol, Tennessee.
ESPN's coverage of the NASCAR Nationwide Series on ABC, brought to you by the mayonnaise that's real and delicious, Hellman's.
Bristol Motor Speedway has been around since 1961. Legends like Cale Yarborough and Richard Petty and more fill the record books. 2 events a decade apart set this speedway on the path to its current popularity. 1969, the banking raised to its very tall heights. In 1978, lights were added and the first night race was held. Bruton Smith Speedway Motorsports bought the track from Larry Carrier in 2007, the corners were reshaped, putting in progressive banking, meaning the higher lanes have more banking than the low. But that 07 renovation also widened the exits of the turns by some 4 feet, giving the drivers more room to race. And in some fans' minds, it took away some of the fender banging and contact that they love. So for this race, the track has extended the safer barrier further off the exits of the turns 2 and 4, taking back about 3 of those extra 4 feet of racing room. You see the top shot where the safer barrier ended last year, and the bottom shot, it just keeps right on going quite a bit further down each of the straightaways. First, for a refresher on what exactly the safer barrier is and what it's designed to do, we go to our Craftsman Tech Garage and Tim Brewer. Tim?
Thanks, Alan. What the barrier does is actually provides a lot safer environment for the race car drivers. This is a piece of 8-inch square tubing. What it will actually do is compress, but what really makes it work is the foam behind it, because it absorbs the energy. Remember, back here, there's 2 feet of concrete. This 2 feet of concrete is very unforgiving. So at high speeds, the drivers can actually walk away from this area right here, but to hit that concrete or this wall, Alan, I believe I'd like to hit this before that.
Ouch, that hurt my ears. All right, Tim, thank you. I don't think I'd like to hit either one of them. Let's discuss the possible impact of the 3 feet less space with our 2 Bristol winning drivers. Rusty here in the pit studio with me, and Dale Jarrett joining in from up inside the broadcast booth. 3 feet less, narrowing of the racetrack. DJ, you first. How's it going to impact the race?
Well, I'm not exactly sure, but I have to imagine that I'm not sure if they did this for safety reasons with the safer barrier or to create a little more excitement. I have to believe the latter, that they're going to create some more excitement. The drivers really like the idea of getting that extra 4 feet that they had given on the exit of the corner, because it made passing a little bit easier there. But that's not exactly what they wanted. You can see how much has been taken back away. This is going to narrow that up. It's going to make passing on the exit of the corners more difficult, a lot closer. I think we're going to see a lot more contact. You can see there's a huge difference. You know, one thing that drivers have used here since the reconfiguration of this racetrack, as we watched Casey Kane right here in 2007, was using that higher line. He used it to go to victory lane. I think that could be impacted some here today too. I'm not sure that you can get the run off of that corner that you're going to need with a car coming from the inside. So it'll be interesting to watch all of this, but I think it's probably a good thing that by narrowing the groove that they use the safer barrier, because it may come into play today.
Yeah. So if you narrow up the exit of the corner, that means you're going to have to get side by side earlier in the corner. The bump and run that used to be so prevalent here at Bristol maybe hasn't been as necessary in recent years. Rusty, we're going to see a little more of the bump and run today?
I definitely think you're going to see the bump and run come back. And one main reason, you talked to Alan earlier about this racetrack being reshaped with progressive banking. The top part of the racetrack has more banking, a little bit faster up there in the race. Now, since they took some of the top away, it's going to force these guys a little bit lower. It's going to be a little harder to pass. And one of the ways to pass is use that old chrome horn, I call it. Hit them in the butt, knock them up out of the racetrack, go on in victory lane. So the bump and run could come back.
And when we get the bump and run, for drivers, that means?
It means angry drivers, which means excitement, which means we're going to have a lot of fun here today.
All right, DJ, look forward to the call of the race in a little while. Thanks.
Okay, thanks.
Casey Kane, saw him in that highlight just a minute ago, getting set to go in one of his Nationwide Series starts this year. Dave?
And he's checking in with owner Todd Braun, who you are the fastest of the Braun race cars. But when you won here, Casey, there was a high line somewhere way over there where there's a little more safer barrier now. Can you use the same line to win today?
Well, I think this track with this rubber, this Goodyear tire, is going to move up there pretty quick. Going to be all over the racetrack, and just kind of see how our Great Clips Toyota drives. But it was fast yesterday, so I think we should have a good shot to at least race them.
And that line isn't going to bother you, that safer barrier extension?
No, you just turn a little earlier in the corner and make sure you missed it on exit. It gets close in qualifying. It gets close a little bit on exit in certain situations, but it's not that bad, really.
All right, look forward to be very good in the 38 car today. Alan?
Okay, Dave, thank you. Casey Kane getting ready to line up in the 7th starting spot. A couple other topics to quickly tie up here. Tires and turn 2.
Well, I tell you, turn 2, I spent all morning down and watching these young guys qualify, and the problem I kept seeing was the spins between turns 1 and 2. It seemed as if the cars would not hold the bottom near the apron of the racetrack, and guys continually spun out. I went and talked to Dennis Setzer, who amongst his peers is considered one of the best short track drivers in all of this business. 18 career wins in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and he was telling me that this tire is beating up. It's creating a hard planning surface on the left side, so the cars are skating up the racetrack. I think we're going to see bedlam all day long down between turns 1 and 2. And remember, Bruton said if the racing doesn't come back and it's not exciting, they're going to tear this place up and redo it again.
But which way you betting? Exciting racing today?
There's going to be some exciting racing. I think it's going to be all day long down between 1 and 2. I think guys are going to be busting their butts down there.
All right, we'll see how trouble in turn 2 plays out through the day. Our J-Ski news and notes now. NASCAR held a test at Talladega this week with spoilers instead of the wing. On the Sprint Cup car, the permanent change happens at Martinsville, the debut of the Nationwide Series new car with spoiler, still on track for Daytona in July. Junior Motorsports has decided to keep its 7-car running in every race, despite only having sponsorship for the events Danica Patrick is running. They want to keep the car up in points to assure Danica a starting spot in her races. Scott Wimmer drives the 7 here. And Ryan Truex, Martin's younger brother, driving a Michael Waltrip Racing Toyota in a half a dozen Nationwide Series races this year. First of them at St. Louis, July 17th. Saw some old school racing shots a few minutes ago. A number of stock car racing legends are here today. They're going to get back behind the wheel in a special race later. You can see that on ESPN2 after our race is done. We're back to Bristol after this message and a word from our ABC stations. We are at the Coliseum of Concrete, the epicenter of excitement, the high banks of high tempers. Bristol Motor Speedway in East Tennessee, where the Scotts Turf Builder 300 is about to begin for the NASCAR Nationwide Series. No matter the nickname, whether it rhymes or not, NASCAR fans know a race at Bristol usually means a lot of flying sparks, bent fenders, heated emotions, all the things we're likely to see over these next couple of hours, just not in the next couple of minutes as we go trackside for the opening ceremony.
Race fans, our presentation of colors this afternoon by the Cherokee High School Navy Junior RO2C from Rogersville, Tennessee. Please rise for invocation by the Reverend Ted Vance from Mill Grove United Church in Mill Grove, Ontario, Canada, followed by our national anthem sung by Brindley Addington of Kingsport, Tennessee. Hands over your heart, remove your ball caps, and remember the troops as we have our invocation.
Let us pray. Gracious God, we give you thanks for all the blessings we have received. We thank you that both our great nations are peaceful, and may your peace spread throughout the world. Let the racing be intense, and God, please bless the drivers, their crews, the fans that are here, those at home, and all our families. And never let us forget the brave men and women in uniform worldwide who keep us from harm. And today our thoughts and prayers are with Jeff Bird. We lift him up to you. Have at it, boys. But Lord, please keep him safe. Amen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
So which one's it going to be? Which driver's going to haul away the trophy for a prized Bristol victory? And which driver's going to lose his cool and give us that other memorable Bristol moment of the day? The engines fire next in Thunder Valley.
You're watching ESPN on ABC.
Aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. Learn how to win $1 million. Go to directv.com/NASCAR. What a beautiful day to be flying over the Bristol Motor Speedway. NASCAR fans enjoying a wonderful first day of spring here in East Tennessee. The fourth race of the NASCAR nationwide season is about to unfold under sunny skies. Temperatures forecast to be in the high 60s through the afternoon with a 0% chance of rain in the forecast. These Bristol races pretty fast and furious, and before the engines fire, let's send it high upstairs to three men who all know all about being both fast and furious within the confines of this track. Dale Jarrett, Andy Petrie, and Marty Reed, gentlemen.
No bumping and grinding going on up here just yet, but thanks, Alan. Hello again, everybody. Let's talk a little bit more about Joey Logano and Greg Biffle. You touched on their running a couple of races ago. Talked to Joey Logano before qualifying today. He said, I'm not going to do any paybacks, and the reason is I don't want to ruin a good race car somewhere down the road like what happened, as we saw at Atlanta in the Sprint Cup race. Your thoughts on that? Because he's starting up second.
Yeah, he's starting on the outside pole today. He's starting on the pole tomorrow. And you know, this is a kid that came into this series with a lot of potential and talent. But this year, he's really made that jump. He's coming in here now and made a real name for himself now in the Cup Series. He's running real well week in and week out. He's dominated races. He dominated that race in California, and that's pretty smart thinking. You know, to look at that and say, I'm not going to go back and make any kind of adjustment here. That was just a racing incident, and now he's going to go back and just race hard. That's what he does well, and he is a fast race car driver.
Yeah, and as these guys all try to settle their differences and their little spats, I'm going to look at a couple of young guys that are starting in the top 10 that I think have an excellent chance to pick up their first nationwide victory here today. Kelly Byers starts third. That 88 team has been to victory lane here. They know how to get the job done. Very talented young driver. Stephen Wallace starts ninth. He's looking for that first nationwide victory. Obviously, great genes. I'm sure he's gotten a lot of good advice from his dad, who's won here 9 times. One of these two guys could sneak in there. I know the veterans have done well here, and the Cup guys have kind of dominated this races as of late, but one of these two guys could go to victory lane.
Well, you mentioned domination, but think about this. Only 3 of the last 10 races here at Bristol have been won by the driver leading the most laps. So, crew chief, what are you trying to set yourself up for down that home stretch?
Well, you like to dominate races, and you're going to try to, but you need to have a car that's good in a short run, because that's what it might come down to, and it could be 2 or 3 of these green-white checkers in a row. You better have a car that'll get going right now.
Yeah, and as I talked about those young guys trying to win here today, there's a veteran that they're going to have to beat. The guy that's won the most races here, Kevin Harvick's won here 5 times. They're going to have to get by him to do it.
All right, so as you get ready for the start of this race, as far as if you were not with us at the beginning of Countdown, of course, a lot of the focus on the drivers of the 22 car on pole, Brad Keselowski, and the 60 of Carl Edwards. This will be the first time these two will be back on the track together since their big run-in at Atlanta. Will we have some rubbing? Absolutely. Will we have some bent fenders? Absolutely. Will we have some hurt egos? Definitely. But we'll also have one heck of a great race. Let's get it started.
Race fans, we're very excited to announce to you the Scott's Turf Builder 300. The folks have continued the relationship here at Bristol Motor Speedway for next year. We're excited about that. And to give the words you race fans want to hear, here's Rich Foster, the Vice President of Lawns Marketing for Scott's. Rich, tell us what we want to hear, my friend.
Gentlemen, start your spreaders. I mean engines!
If I give you too much, just let me know. I'll tell you everything I see, though, and I'll make sure you know that. We're of course with you. We're pacing everything. You're all done. Come up here and see me so we can tell you what the plan is here. We got half hour goal. We just need to be around at the end. Doesn't matter really where it's at. Obviously, if we get close to the end, we're 3,800. Really good 3,800.
Well, the engines have fired after that stellar call to start engines. Let's go back to qualifying a little bit earlier today. Brad Keselowski picks up his 5th pole, denies Joey Logano the sweep by 1/100th of a second, by 2/100ths of a second over Kelly Byers. And you'll notice there's a little damage on the car. They'll have to start the race that way because this is an impound race. So will it have that much effect? Probably not, because of this being just a half-mile oval. Take a look at our starting grid across the top of your screen, and you notice the two non-winners in that top 10, Kelly Byers and Steve Wallace, that Dale talked about just a few moments ago. You saw Carl Edwards starting in the 4th position. You heard him earlier saying send your questions in to the mailbag. Well, let's find out, as he is our in-race reporter. Then he wants to do another backflip here at Bristol. DJ?
Carl, Dale Jarrett, the ESPN. You have a copy?
I got you, Dale.
Hey, Carl, since you promoted that, someone writing in about a question for you with our mailbag, Heath in Harrisonburg, Virginia, asked, how concerned are you about the recent changes made to the track? How does it affect your driving?
Well, I'm looking at the track right now. That's a good question, Keith. You know, it's got rubber built up about halfway up it, and it just did that in the last part of the cup practice. So I think this track's going to change a lot during the day. This tire's a little different. But overall, the surface is so smooth, it seems like you can run 2, maybe 3 wide, and we have yet to see people run the top. So I think it's going to be a lot of things happen because of this new surface.
Carl, my question for you, and we talked about this a little bit yesterday. I say the word probation. We're here at Bristol. How does that affect your thinking and your driving as you try to win this race today?
Well, I had to have my meeting with my probation officer earlier. That went well, Mr. Helton. And I think after we had that meeting, everything was good. And I just got to go out here and do the best I can, focus on racing, and not get you know, pulled into all the extra stuff that goes around it. And I think that's the hardest part for me sometimes. And today I'll get to try that. Just try to stay focused.
All right, man. Put on a great show for us. Looking forward to it. Now, Andy's going to talk to your crew chief, Drew Blickensturfer.
Hey, Drew. Andy Petrie in the booth. You got us?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Drew, Goodyear brought a little bit different combination of tire here. How's that going to affect the race today, and how did it hold up in practice?
Tire wear was excellent. People ran really fast times late in practice. In fact, we ran real fast times late in practice. So I think you'll run it like you do a lot of short tracks here, especially at Bristol in the Nationwide Series. You try to come pit road as few times as possible so you can keep that track position.
Drew, we see that track blackening up, just like Carl said, and he said it's going to change the track. What is it going to do, actually? What are you going to have to do to your car?
Well, you expect it to probably get tighter. You know, the black race tracks of years past would get tighter, and with the sun beating on it like this, you would think it would. But, you know, as the race ends, it'll be shaded down to 1 and 2, so you have to keep that in mind, too, not to free it up too much so you're not too loose at the end.
Okay, Drew, good luck today. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you, Andy.
And the cars have rolled out on the first of their 4 pace laps, and it gives us a chance to talk about pit procedure because it is a tricky layout here at this half-mile oval. Andy?
Yeah, it is. This is one of those racetracks. It's unique. It has 2 pit roads. It has one on the back stretch and one on the front stretch. And in an effort to make it equal, under caution only, these cars will actually enter the pit road on the back stretch and treat this like one pit road. Even if you're pitting on the front stretch, you will come all the way around here and pit and drive all the way around through both pit roads and back to your pit stall. And if you're pitting on the back stretch, you still have to drive all the way around here and exit on this side. Now, under green and green flag only, you can enter your respective pit road off the racetrack. You can come in the front stretch right here and you can exit right here. So that makes you spend less time on pit road, and you can do the same thing on the back stretch. Under green, that'll save guys time. This is a system they've had in place for quite a few years, and it works great.
All right, thanks for the explanation, and we'll sort of detail that as it occurs during the race. Let's get the final update from pit road. Jamie Little, you're up.
Well, Marty, the last 9 races here has seen 9 different winners. So who will be the new face, perhaps in victory lane at the end of today's race? How about Joey Logano? You guys talked about him. This 19-year-old is having a great weekend already. Qualified this car on the front row this morning. Yesterday, qualified his Cup car on the pole for tomorrow's race for the first time in his career. Last time he was in the car, remember, at California, dominated, led 130 laps before spinning at the finish. This team is hungry for a win. Dave?
Jamie, Kelly Byers has sat out most of the 2010 season. Think about it. Dale Jr. drove this car at Daytona. Then 2 weeks ago at Las Vegas, a lap 5 wreck, and he didn't get hardly any laps at all. The one bright spot was Fontana. He hopes today, and as well as it's starting here at Bristol, he qualified 3rd. Dr. Punch?
Ask yourself, what does it really take for a young driver to get their first win on the high banks at Bristol? Well, you got to be aggressive, you got to have a good car, and you can't be afraid to use it. That's a perfect description for 22-year-old Stephen Wallace. Now, Wallace picked up his first pole here 2 years ago. His famous father, Rusty, got his first and 50th Cup wins here on the high banks at Bristol. If Stephen were to pull it off today, expect an emotional family reunion in victory lane. Vince.
Well, Doc, last season's Rookie of the Year, Justin Allgaier, has been nothing short of amazing here at Bristol and adapting to the nuances of this tricky racetrack. He was 5th here in March, had a good run in August, and he has been among the fastest here all weekend. But Allgaier will have to come from deep in the field if he's to score his first win here today. He'll start 30th after a loose car in qualifying. They say patience is one of Allgaier's strengths. Well, he'll need plenty of it today, Marty.
All right, thanks, guys. The broadcast available in Spanish. All you have to do is activate your SAP button. It's presented by ESPN Deportes. No cars going to the rear. We can tell you those that did not qualify: Dennis Setzer, Mark Green, Scott Riggs, Jason Bowles, Brad Teague, Parker Kligerman, and Chris Lawson. So as we get ready to go green here at Bristol, let's reset this stage. And also, I guess we almost have a drag race. The pole sitter, Brad Keselowski, decided to do a last-minute lane change. He's gone to the outside.
That's right. Fastest qualifier gets lane choice, even in NASCAR. And you see that he has chosen that outside lane, and we'll see how it works out.
And look who's behind him. Just happens to be that 60 car.
Yeah, that might have been 2 different reasons Brad decided to do that. He might have saw something in Cup practice that made him think about this, but he knows that the guy behind him is probably not going to run into him anytime soon here.
Well, let's...
Hey, guys, y'all look good over there. Appreciate race cars this awesome. Are a lot of fun to drive, and it's a lot of fun to work with you guys. Thank you. Let's have a good day today.
Well, and one of the things we talked about was the fact that the groove seemed to be working its way higher. You heard Carl even mention that that could be developing as the race progresses.
Yeah, let's not forget, this is that new tire that Goodyear developed to put rubber down on the racetrack. Kind of did it for Indianapolis, but it's worked good at other tracks. We see now that the sun's come out, it has started to take rubber, and it's going to affect the race today.
Well, and the other thing we should point out, all concrete surface does not have the same kind of effect when heat gets on it as an asphalt.
Yeah, and these guys are going to be chasing this today. You heard Drew Blichendorf talking about how they were going to have to chase, make adjustments, and chase this right till the very end.
43 cars. Did we squeeze them on to the world's fastest half-mile racetrack, and we are about to go green once again at Bristol Motor Speedway. Don't forget, pit road speed is just 30 miles an hour. You don't want to get busted because it will cost you a lot. And we have just been told NASCAR is going to add another lap of caution, but don't know the exact reason why. Oh, they're trying to correct the pit road speed. In other words, they're trying to adjust the tax.
Well, it's just hard for these cars to get a good reading on their tachometer. They have to use that to judge their speed on pit road. NASCAR does a really good job of running that pace car at a consistent speed so they can get that. But when you got 43 cars on this little track, it's kind of hard to keep that speed consistent through the field.
Yeah, if you're not up in those first 3 or 4 rows, it makes it very difficult. If the guys won't keep up and stay right on the bumper, then you're not getting a true reading. And we've seen a lot of races already this year be affected by that pit road speed.
Yeah, the other thing the drivers are trying to do is get those tires warmed up, get them ready to go here, and that kind of affects the guy behind them when they're trying to get a pit road speed.
Hey, we've got just a moment. Want to remind you quickly, don't go anywhere except over to ESPN2 at 5:30 because we'll have the showdown of our Legends race, and that will be live over on ESPN2.
That's going to be fun.
Cale Yarborough, David Pearson, loving that. So that's more before or after we put 300 laps in the books here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Lights are now out on the pace car. We're told we are going to go green this time by. Into turns 3 and 4. And as the pace car pulls off, race number 4 of the 2010 NASCAR Nationwide Series comes out of turn number 4 with pole sitter Brad Keselowski up on the high side, and we are green. And Keselowski gets loose.
Yeah, it didn't work out too good taking that outside lane right on the start.
Edwards gets around him. Kelly Byers is loose on the low side.
Yeah, I was concerned about that upper groove being a little bit slick. It's been sitting there for well over an hour without any cars being on it.
Now they did sweep it, and there's another car a little bit further back, the 32. Reed Sorensen, he gets high. He's going to lose some spots. Kelly Byers has got the 18. Here we go. Keselowski's just doesn't seem to have
look at Byers.
Look out, Byers. So already we've got a lot of wheel spin going on.
Yeah, these guys complained and talked to me a lot yesterday about how the exit of the corner was being affected by these tires. I think they're going to see racing side by side, which they haven't really done in practice, is going to be that wall is going to affect them more there. So that combination is going to make this really interesting.
You see Kyle Busch now trying to work a little bit on the outside.
On board with Casey Kane. He's in the 38 car today, not Jason Leffler. Leffler's in the 10. Battle for third. And it looks like our pole sitter is going to be bumped back to fourth as Kyle Busch goes around.
Yeah, a little swap over move. You saw Kyle Busch go up really high in the corner, but then came down on the bottom and made the pass.
Greg Biffle in the 27. The next target in line as he's sizing up the 22 of Brad Keselowski. We can tell you up front, Joey Logano's picked up about a 0.3 of a second lead, leading his first laps ever here at Bristol in the Nationwide Series.
We got a big jam up back behind this group.
James Buescher, the number 1, is pulled into pit road.
He's got some damage on the front of that. And what I saw here yesterday in practice, these guys having to get out of the throttle on the exit of the corner. That's going to really create a backup and a lot of contact.
Biffle has gotten around the 22. Here comes Kane underneath the 22 of Keselowski. I can tell you that Johnny Chapman has already parked his car behind the wall as our first starting part.
I don't know what Brad Keselowski's fighting, but his car is going way up in the corner.
Now, Kelly Byers seems to have the same issue as well because he's right behind him there as he has been loose since the start.
Heard a lot of guys talk about that their car's bottoming out on this racetrack.
See, right on the start right here, Keselowski gets really loose. Carl Edwards has to make it 3 wide, and then you see Kelly Byers almost spin underneath.
Yeah, we talked about that rubber being getting down on the racetrack, as you see on the exit right here. And this is where I think we're going to see a lot of problems today. But that rubber being built up on the track that we saw through Cup practice, that sits there in the sun. It's just getting hotter. I think it's going to just create more problems. Here's the contact with the 1 car.
Oh, and Trevor Bayne. We had not seen that part. We just saw the end result.
Yeah, we see that a lot here at Bristol when you got a car right up on your outside. Sometimes you don't see him out there, and you go out for that extra room on the wall, and you get turned straight into it.
This is the battle for the race lead. Joey Logano, Carl Edwards. Edwards is closing down on him now. The biggest lead was 0.3 of a second. It's now down to about 1/10.
Yeah, they've got company right behind them.
Right behind them. You see that 18 car sneaking in the picture. There's Kyle Busch.
Kyle said in our pre-race show, if you were with us, he says it's about 100% luck here. You can have the greatest car in the world, as he found out twice last year, and not
these
win the race.
Leaders are also catching lap traffic, so that's going to make it a little more interesting too.
And we're not even 15 laps into this race, and they're already caught the tail end of the field. Here comes Carl Edwards trying to try this on the low side. I think this is going to be difficult to do on the bottom.
While all this is going on, Carl takes another look on the low side, can't get it done, and here comes Kyle on the outside. We can tell you James Buescher did go back out on the track after coming into pit road. He had a commit lane violation. He's 5 laps down.
Well, you can see Kyle Busch had a run on Carl Edwards for that second spot, but ran in on lap traffic.
Yeah, Eric McClure, the 24 car, once it breaks your momentum, you got to start all over. Now you see more lap traffic coming into play as the 56 of Kevin LePage goes a lap down.
I can tell you, this is going to be a difficult day for these guys, already lapping traffic here.
Battle for 11th, the 33 of Kevin Harvick, the 5-time winner here, and Stephen Wallace right alongside. And here comes the 21 of John West Townley trying to get into that mix as well. And Brendan Gaughan, Stephen's teammate. Brendan always likes that higher line. Seems to work pretty well for him, although they have been chasing that car throughout practice and in through qualifying. Come back up front and you're saying, whoa, wait a minute, Kyle Busch. Yes, he has moved around Carl Edwards and now into second position, and he is closing in on Joey Logano. So the two Joe Gibbs Racing machines, and Joe Gibbs Racing has never won here in the Nationwide Series at Bristol. Running 1-2.
They've always had fast race cars here. Just the luck's never been on their side. Still got fast race cars today.
That's more lap traffic. They're trying to get around Derek Cope. They've already put Morgan Shepherd and Andy Ponstein both a lap down.
You see just how difficult it is, how quickly they caught this lap car, but now they're having a difficult time getting around him.
Yeah, Cope's got the preferred line and the lower line.
Oh, it looks like Kyle Busch may have scraped the wall right there. Real close call.
You just can't hold it. Remember, that's 26 degrees banking down at the bottom of the track, graduating up to 30.
Lead now.
Here we go, and Kyle's going to take the high side around the 73. Cope's going to feel like a sandwich. And there goes Kyle.
Yeah, let's say Derek Cope might hold one of them off. He can't hold three of them off.
So give the race lead now to the 18 of Kyle Busch. He becomes our second leader.
Casey Kane up in this mix now too. He's found his way up into the third spot.
Got around the 60 of Carl Edwards and is closing quickly. And he likes that high line. Remember, we talked with him before that, and he said it could become a problem a little bit later in the race because you're going to run out of room with the change in the safer barriers. There's your top 5 after 22 of 300 laps here at Bristol.
ESPN's coverage of the NASCAR Nationwide Series on ABC. Brought to you by Nationwide Insurance. Call or visit us online for a quote today. And Comfort Suites. When business travel leaves you drained, recharge with Comfort Suites.
And just as we come back, we're under our first caution here at Bristol, the 26 of Brian Keselowski, and you can see the net result. Yes, the safer barriers are a little softer than concrete, but not that soft.
They still won there.
Yeah, they usually do. Longest green flag stretch from a start of the race here at Bristol since April of '97. 32 laps. We made 31.
Yeah, it's like a little contact here. He got a little help, Brian did.
Yeah, he did.
Like the one car, James Busher, who had been in under green to make some repairs.
Brian was 32nd at the time of the crash. And Jason Keller was going to get the Aaron's Lucky Dog free pass. He was the first one a lap down. We should also tell you that Kevin LePage has taken it behind the wall. Danny O'Quinn has also parked it, and David Gilliland. So we have 4 cars behind the wall. Pit road was not open. Now remember, the 99 and the 1 had a little contact earlier, so they decided to come back down and take care of some business. They'll end up going to the back of the longest line. Here is also the 62 in.
Yeah, this could be a little bit of a mistake there. It looked like a lot of cars pitted there, and some of them followed them in, even though the pit road was closed. That'll make them start in the rear.
Yeah, this is a difficult place at this racetrack to see that light and the flag if this is open, because you have to make that commitment so early on the back straightaway as you get just between turn 1 and 2.
Well, and Trevor Bayne was running 11th. And let's correct ourselves. We just got word that NASCAR did open pit road.
Okay, so, well, it's hard for us to see it too. We couldn't see the light from the entrance to pit road from here.
Yeah, it is impossible for us to see, but it is easy to make that mistake. But it's nice for these guys that they're just going to start where they go back out on the track.
So right now it is Kyle Busch, your race leader, as we've knocked down 32 total laps. We've had 2 leaders. Joey Logano led for 21 laps. Kyle's led the last 11. Casey Kane has moved up to 2nd. Carl Edwards is now 3rd. And let's get an idea on the condition on the 22 from Brad Keselowski himself. Let's listen to the radio.
My car really came in after about lap 20, which is, I haven't identified it as air pressure or whatever it is, but it just was hammering the right front. And I couldn't tell if it was spring or valence. As I moved up the track, it hit it even harder. So.
That was Brad Keselowski inside the pole-winning car, and you saw what happened in lap 1. The car, the valence hit the racetrack, and it scooted up the racetrack, and he lost about 3 positions, and we moved all the way back now to 5th. The good news is that air pressure was down, so the car was hitting and bouncing on the track. Now the pressures are up, and he's saying the car feels good now. I can start making my way back toward the front, but they've warned him, just be patient and stay there. It's a long day here at Bristol. Guys?
I wonder if that's a similar situation for Kelly Byers, because he's now settled into 8th position after falling back.
And I'll tell you, this 22 car was coming to the front right before that caution came out.
Well, while we've got a moment, let's talk about Super Chef Jamie Oliver. He's coming to the unhealthiest city in America to start the ultimate food fight, and what he does here could change an entire nation. Jamie Oliver's Food Revolution. It's a 2-hour premiere Friday at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, with a special sneak preview tomorrow at 10 Eastern on ABC. Great view from high above here at Bristol Motor Speedway as we are under our first caution. We were looking at cars that were really on the move. How about young Coleman Presley, Robert's son, moved up 17 positions. Robert had 10 Nationwide Series victories. Let's get an update from Vince.
Well, and it may be his first time in the Nationwide car here at Bristol, but he's got plenty of experience with him. Steve Plattenberg, the crew chief, worked with Coleman's dad, Robert, back in the day, and also Dale Cagle spotting for Coleman today. He's done a lot of work with Ricky Rudd in the past, so some veterans with the young kid here today, looking good early.
Kyle Busch decided to take the high line, and it pays dividends on the restart as we're back to green flag racing. Joey Logano also on that high line, moves into 2nd, and Casey Kane's getting shuffled a little.
Yeah, he had trouble getting started right there on the restart. I don't know if he spun his tires. Looks like he's a little bit loose down on the bottom.
I think we're already starting to see that the preferred line is going to be the middle to the top of this racetrack throughout this day.
Greg Biffle has gotten around the 38, and right now he's got his hands full with the 60 of Carl Edwards. And here comes Brad Keselowski right along side by side, now nose to tail with Carl.
You see Casey Kane, who we talked about, was a little slower on the start. With a harder tire, you have to really make sure that you get the tires cleaned off and try to get a little bit of heat in them for a restart, because it takes them a little bit of time to come in. So you have to work extra hard under caution, keeping your tires cleaned off and a little bit of heat there, so you'll be ready for the restart.
And what Brad said about after lap 20 really seems to speak volumes in that.
Yeah, and it'll even take, now he was coming to the front before the caution, and now that they've had a caution, it may take a few more laps for his car to come back in, even though he has the same tires on the car.
Here's the exact situations we see Brad trying to make that pass on the inside of Carl Edwards that I was thinking as I came here, knowing that they had narrowed the groove on the exit of the corners by 3 feet, that this was going to make it difficult to make a pass on the inside. I think we're going to see the guys get up in the middle, try to make a diamond of this by going up in the center and then driving straighter off and giving them a better shot on the exit of the corner.
So taking that space away from the outside groove affects more of the inside groove on getting off the corner.
Yeah, just because that outside car is not going to be as far out there as what he once was. He's going to use all of the track, but there's 3 feet less of it, so therefore you have more wheel in the car, which makes your car get loose.
Let's go back just a little bit further in this pack. That's Stephen Wallace up high. Justin Allgaier, who finished 5th here last year. It's a battle for 10th place on the racetrack, and Leffler is in this mix as well, and that's right, Jason is in the 10 car once again. That's going to happen about 6 more times this year. First look at Paul Menard in the 98. He's got some Tide sponsorship on the front hood of that 98 machine. And there right underneath him is John West Townley. And in the 7 car, no, it's not Danica Patrick. It is Scott Wimmer. And this is the first of a 2-race deal for him.
Yeah, Scott Wimmer driving the car this weekend. But they're trying to keep that car up in the owner's point. So when Danica does come back, she'll have a car that will have points and she won't have to worry about making the field on time. And also a good opportunity for somebody like Scott Wimmer to get in here, a former winner in the series, and get in some races. This is the 2nd spot.
Battle is heating up for 2nd. Joey Logano's got a mirror full of the 38 of Casey Kane.
So he got those tires cleaned off now.
Yeah, and he'd come up and taken that second spot away. As you see him really working the high line here off of turn 2. He's going to take that second spot away now. So it looks like it may take Casey's car a few laps to come in, but he's letting Kyle Busch get a little too far away. See how long it takes if he can run him down.
Let's get an update on the 20, Jamie Little.
Well, Joey Logano came on the radio, told his crew he's getting tight in the center and it's getting worse as it goes. He says he needs it to turn a little better. And when Kyle Busch got around him a little while ago, he goes, guys, what is making Kyle Busch so fast? His team said, don't worry about it. We'll creep up on him.
All right, thanks, Jamie. The laps continue to fly by. 48 are in the books of 300. There's your top 5 here at Bristol. We're going to be back with a lot more action from the fastest half mile in the world after this message and a word from your ABC station. Back here at the Scotts Turf Builder 300, we have our second caution because of debris on the front stretch. Let's get caught up on pit road. Dave Burns.
And Kelly Byers, who had such a loose race car early on, decided he needed to come down at this point, get 4 tires, make a chassis adjustment to that car, had recovered to some degree, but at the beginning of this race, that car was out of control. Right ahead of him, Mike Blisson as well.
And right here you see Stephen Wallace making a 4-tire change, and this is going to, these cars now making this stop are going to get off sequence. If we have another 40-50 lap run, you might see these cars stay out and inherit the lead.
Yeah, we were talking about fuel, and you can go like almost 150 laps, but we're not going to see that.
Not usually.
Not usually. Not here. But our race leader did not pit, as Kyle Busch is still out front. And the 81 of Michael McDowell, as you see, gets the Aaron's Lucky Dog. He's got some new sponsorship there from Mobile Shop Professional Services, and they're going to be on the car for the next few races. It's good news for them, as they have been, like many of the teams, trying to hustle down the dollars to keep racing. So as we continue under our second caution, let's go to a commercial break here on ESPN on ABC with Mark Hollywood Armstrong as he takes us over the wall here at Bristol Motor Speedway.
All right, come on, boys. We're 10 away now. We need one. Get us a few spots here. Let's go. Come on, baby.
.58 laps in the book here at Bristol Motor Speedway, and let's reset it for you as we're getting ready to close out our second caution period. It'll be Kyle Busch with Casey Kane second, Joey Logano third, Greg Biffle, Carl Edwards fourth and fifth, Brad Keselowski, Kevin Harvick sixth and seventh. Then it's Reed Sorensen, Justin Allgaier, and Paul Menard rounding out your top 10. Pace car coming through turns 3 and 4, pulls down onto the apron, and again our leader Kyle Busch has taken the high line. And the green flag waves, and we're back to racing at Bristol.
And once again, Casey Kane doesn't anticipate that very well. Greg Biffle gets a nice run on the outside, take over that second spot.
Biffle has not had a lot of success here at Bristol in the Nationwide Series. 2 top 10 finishes in his last 6 starts.
Now you see Brad Keselowski going pretty good on this restart on the outside. See right behind him, Reed Sorensen now in that yellow car, moving his way up.
Here comes Carl Edwards underneath Reed. And look at this log jam a little bit further back. That's Tony Raines in the 34, the 10 of Leffler, the 66 of Wallace.
Yeah, that's where all the new tires are right there. You see Stephen Wallace got 4 new tires. They're looking for somewhere to go behind this traffic.
I promise you, the Cup guys that aren't in this race are sitting paying attention to these restarts and the things that are happening to the guys on the inside. Greg Biffle really loose that time in turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, but now here comes Casey Kane. He's got a big run. Now he's got his tires cleaned off.
There you see Biffle, and there goes Casey. So Casey and Greg continue their battle, and Brad Keselowski right behind him in 4th, with Joey Logano just a touch further back in 5th. And now Keselowski's going to look to go underneath the 27.
Yeah, it looks like the longer they run, the better Brad Keselowski's car gets. I mean, he just keeps getting better the more laps they put on it.
Boy, and can you say enough about what Greg Biffle has done for the 2017?
Yeah, Marty, I was thinking that same thing. It's just amazing. I mean, not that to down this team, they're working extremely hard and giving Greg Biffle good cars, but he's making those cars look great and just shows the terrific talent he is.
And they also have a crew chief over there, Ricky Vires. This is his first season with that team, and it's been a good combination. Ricky's a great crew chief, and obviously Greg's a great driver, and they're doing good together.
You know, you mentioned Ricky Vires. Later we have the Legends race over on ESPN2. Vires was a tire changer on Harry Gant's Nationwide car when he won the spring race here in '92.
How about that? He worked for me over there, too. I was a tire changer on that car, too.
and look what it did for you.
Yeah.
All right, there's Kevin Harvick and Justin Allgaier, and that is for 8th, 9th, and Paul Menard is in 10th. Let's go on board with Justin, who finished 5th here last year and was really happy with his race car through practice and qualifying. Vince, you got more on this 12 car?
Well, Allgaier in qualifying, they just miscalculated the grip in the cool morning air, and that's why he had problems and started 30th. But they knew this car was bad fast, and if he would keep his nose clean, it wouldn't take long to get up through the field. So you do the math. He started 30th, now running 9th. 21 spots he's jumped up. The car doesn't have the side bite that he would like, and it's tight in the center, but there's no denying Justin Allgaier's on the move.
Yeah, I spent some time with Drew Blickensdorfer down in the garage area of the pits this morning and asked him, I said, which car do you think is one of the cars to beat here, or the cars to beat? And he pointed to that number 12 was the first one he said. He said, that car is really fast.
You have to really be impressed with that Penske organization with these two cars, both of them running extremely well. As we see real battle here with Trevor Bayne on the inside, tried to take that spot away from Paul Menard.
Remember, Trevor had that incident with James Buescher early in the race. Here he comes back, and he's knocking on the door to take over the 10th spot.
Yeah, we'll see if he has this slide job in mind that I saw Kevin Harvick put on Paul Menard a while ago. And this is getting to be a lot like you see the sprint cars on asphalt tracks, to where they just jump in front of a guy and slide right up in front and make him break his momentum.
Yeah, and this is a battle between cars with different tires on. Now, Trevor Bayne has already made a pit stop. Paul Menard is on the same tires he started with.
Yeah, 32 lap difference between the tires right here.
You can see that Trevor Bayne is faster, but that inside groove is just it's very difficult to make that pass.
While all this is going on, there is what it looks like up front. Kyle Busch, 0.3 of a second lead over Casey Kane. Greg Biffle continues in 3rd. We have a total of 31 cars on the lead lap. Derek Cope currently the first car, 1 lap down. And here we go back again for this battle for 10th. On the inside is Trevor Bayne. And can he get it done this time?
Yeah.
Ooh, he's squeezing him a little.
He's going to get it right here.
He got it. And here comes John West Townley, seeing if he can duplicate the maneuver.
See Paul Menard's car really bouncing there as he got down into turns 1 and 2. Makes it difficult as a driver to get your car turned in that situation to get back to the throttle the way you need to.
That 4th car back there is Brian Scott, as he is trying to work his way up. He's currently running in 13th position. Well, has been proven time and time again that middle line is still better than being down low. You just can't seem to get the car to grip and turn. As Menard continues to hold off John West Townley.
Yeah, you either have to have a really, really good car or a lot better tires to make that bottom groove work and to make a pass and complete it.
Yeah, and these two cars, the 21 and the 98, are on the same tires. And here's a pass for the lead, or a challenge for the lead.
And it happened just so quickly because of all the lap traffic again. Kyle Busch trying to hold off Casey Kane. That's Derek Cope right in front of him. Cope already 1 lap down, and look out, here comes Casey. He gets around, takes advantage.
It's kind of like being on the interstate and trying to pick which lane is going to go faster. You see there, Casey Kane chose the fast lane.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's changed about this racetrack since they changed the banking in the corners, because you can run side by side, but knowing which lane to go with and where to make that pass is up to the drivers, and sometimes we've seen this be even the winning pass in some of these races.
That's Michael McDowell going a lap down again. Remember, he got the lucky dog. He's running in 30th, but Casey Kane now in front, our 3rd different leader with 81 of 300 in the books here at Bristol. Welcome back here to the NASCAR Nationwide Series at Bristol. Make sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. Also want to tell you about what's coming up on the motorsports. Oh, no, we got a crash. Brian Scott. Oh, and the 16 is also involved. That's Colin Brown. And now the fire is the 66 of Stephen Wallace. Just that quickly.
Yeah, that was pretty bad crash down there. It looks like a lot of water coming out of the cars.
Started in turn
Yeah, they're
one.
okay.
Steven's okay. He's climbing out. You can breathe all right, Rusty.
He's out.
Still waiting to see on Colin.
Brian Scott was also the other car involved in this.
This will be the... We are going to get a red flag from NASCAR officials.
You can see there, that's the carburetor. It's knocked the air cleaner off of Stephen Wallace's car. Good to see Stephen's okay.
Yeah, and we talked about this just being a half-mile racetrack, but we have some pretty spectacular accidents here. You're still going over 120 miles an hour.
Okay, well, you can see the safety officials, and Colin has the helmet off, the Hans device, and we're waiting to see him climb out, which will be the best news of all. And here he comes. There he is.
Yeah, it's good to see.
So a wicked crash involving 3 cars. There's Steven already heading back towards the hauler. And this is a tough break for Colin. This is his second of DNF in the first 3 races that he's been in, and now the 4th.
So here Brian Scott, he was the other car that was involved in this.
Oh, and he gets a little help. That's Wimmer.
Yeah. And he collects up Brown there, and Stephen Wallace, just a victim there. Drives up underneath the back of it.
Yeah, and you're just going so fast and things happen so quickly here. You just don't have a chance to react. You can see Stephen, but you know he's running wide open and trying to go. And
Kelly Byers does a nice job of just escaping all of that.
You know, I heard Kyle Busch talking about how it's just luck that you have a good finish here, and right there was just terrible luck for Stephen Wallace and Colin Brown.
Let's go on board with Kelly Byers, see his view.
You see this has already started taking place, and talk about luck. Whoa, good driving and a lot of luck right there.
A lot of luck
nice
for Kelly
job.
Byers. Good luck for him. Bad luck for Stephen Wallace.
I don't know if Brian Scott was having some kind of problem there, but he got out of the gas really early getting into the corner. Scott Wimmer certainly wasn't anticipating that happen.
Well, for Brian Scott, he had a career best finish at 10th back at California, was running really well at Las Vegas until he had a late race crash, ended up 31st there, and now he has a second incident here, but as we said, he got help getting turned around. Jamie Little has caught up with Stephen Wallace. Jamie?
Stephen, first of all, you jumped out of the car pretty quick. Are you all right?
Yeah, I don't really know what happened. 5-hour Toyota wasn't running too bad. We got a little loose there at the end, or at the start, and we pitted, and I was just went fly down on turn 3, and right when I rolled out of the gas there, I just saw a car spinning out and saw all hell breaking loose, and there was nothing I could do. You know, this track's just really fast, and you just don't have enough time to react, and sort of car catch on fire. That's about it. So.
Did you feel it?
Yeah, I got a hard head. I'll be all right.
All right, gosh, guys, he's had a string of 5 top 10s in a row. Bummer, he's out today.
Yeah, that streak is over, but he'll get a chance to start it again in 2 weeks when we go to Nashville. Crew's going to have some work to do. Now there is Brian Scott as he has made it back to pit road, and they can't work on the car under the red flag situation, so they had to stop. Let's take another view.
You can see Scott Wimmer following him right here. Brian Scott, car goes by on the outside, but
man, he gets out of the throttle way early. You're
really
right.
early. I don't know if some kind of problem that he had or if he was possibly trying to go to pit road there.
Boy, that stacks up fast too. Like Stephen Wallace is a fast racetrack, and you don't have a lot of time to react to that.
Laps at 120 miles an hour. Let's get more on the 11, Vince Welch.
Well, there you see Brian Scott sitting in the pits, and a lot of damage to that race car. And just as DJ mentioned, he was coming to the pits. He had had a vibration and reported it to his crew chief, Bill Wilburn, just moments before, that they had a bad vibration. They were trying to get him to pit lane and just didn't get there in time. As you said, it stacks up in a hurry. A lot of damage to several race cars in that situation.
He was running 13th at the time and then moving towards the front. A lot of cleanup going on in turns 1 and 2. The red flag is out here at Bristol after 90 of 300 laps. Stay with us. We'll take a break for a moment. We come back, we'll update you and get this race started once again. I want to remind brings you Saturday Night Showdown at Bristol with the legends of the sport. 5:30 Eastern on ESPN2. We've got Harry Gant, Charlie Gottsback, Jimmy Hensley, Jack Ingram, Dave Marcus, L.D. Ottinger, who did really well last year. Sterling Marlin won it last year. And we've got David Pearson and Cale Yarborough. And we're under a red flag situation. You saw the shot there of Jeff Bird in Victory Lane. We want to send our best to him. He is fighting cancer, and the president and general manager here at Bristol is missed. Let's also talk about the calendar, because NHRA, the 4 wide nationals, that's right, 4 cars at a time, going to be going down the track. Qualifying's next Saturday, 7 Eastern. Finals next Sunday at 5 Eastern on ESPN2. The IndyCar Series, the IZOD IndyCar Series, visits St. Petersburg next Sunday at 3:30 Eastern. Will be on ABC. And then our next stop on the Nationwide Series will be at Nashville in a couple of weeks, 3:30 Eastern on ESPN, April 3rd. So that gets you caught up on the calendar. And right now we're trying to get caught up on the mess that was created down in turns 1 and 2 after a 3-car crash involving first Brian Scott, then also the 16 of Colin Brown and the 66 of Stephen Wallace. And you can see that the oil dry is still being cleaned up. Dave Burns is caught up with Colin Brown.
Yeah, he's just been released from the infield care center. First of all, are you okay? And then what happened?
Yeah, I'm fine. You know, it was a bummer for the number 16 Conway Freight Ford Fusion guys. Thought we had a decent car. We were just kind of minding our own business, and I don't know what happened. The 11 got turned around, I guess, and you know, I tried to judge which way he was going to go, and ended up hitting him. And then I just got hit from behind, and that was that. So definitely a disappointing day. I feel bad tearing up these guys' race car, but man, it was going to be okay.
Yeah, you were struggling a little bit there at the start with your race car anyway. What was the plan when you first got a chance to pit?
Well, we were going to make a little bit of a wedge adjustment, try to tighten our car up a little bit right in the center of the corner, but man, I thought we were going to have an okay day.
All right, glad you're okay. Colin is out, guys, and that's good news.
All right, thanks for the update, David. As this red flag you can see is up to 7.5 minutes with Casey Kane, our race leader currently, followed by Kyle Busch and Greg Biffle. Now, we want to go back a little bit because Kelly Byers, of course, a young driver that we talked about having a great opportunity here to potentially score his first win, but there's a lot of things you got to learn about Bristol. Here's what we mean.
Hard to lose some brake. Do what? You have any brake duct openings we can open up in the front?
No, sir. We don't use brakes at Bristol. Get your foot off of. Get off the gas early, roll through the center of the corner, get back on the gas, make the straightaway longer. Entirely too much brake if you're losing brakes.
That's definitely Pop Urey. I've heard that before. But folks, what Tony's trying to do, instead of opening these brake ducts up and letting the air flow through here, he's trying to keep them taped up to keep downforce, the nose of the car planted. But the guys that use the brake ducts, they use fans to accelerate the airflow to come in here to cool the brakes. But I guarantee you, I've heard Darrell Waltrip holler in there before, hey, my brakes are going away. And before I could get a word out of my mouth, the big man, Junior Johnson, get your foot off that brake pedal, boy. And that's what Pops is telling him right now.
All right, from the Craftsman Tech Garage. And Junior Johnson's going to be the pace car driver for tonight's Legend race at 5:30. All right, we're still under this red flag situation, so let's squeeze in another commercial break after this message and a word from your ABC stations.
A slugfest at Bristol, Tennessee.
Some confusion of where the pit road was open.
Over the radio, we were saying that pit road was open, but the signal at the driver's seat was still red.
NASCAR, please help us out. That's twice I've gotten dumped today because of lap cars.
Carl Edwards takes the victory.
Man, that is awesome.
Well, pit road is not open right now at the Scott's Turf Builder 300 as we have just gotten word that we're going back to yellow flag conditions here on lap 91 of 300 at Bristol Motor Speedway. Stop number 4 on the 2010 NASCAR Nationwide Series Tour. So we were going to try and talk to our in-race reporter, but now that they're back underway, we ought to let them go to pit road and take care of business. Yeah. And we got some takers. Here comes Casey Kane as he leads them down. First stop is going to be on the 12 car of Justin Allgaier. Vince.
Yeah, it's just tight, dead in the center, and it just keeps getting tighter and tighter. They're going to make a half round on the right side track bar adjustment and a slight air pressure adjustment. 4 tires. Jamie Little.
And Greg Biffle just a bit free in. He's been moving forward. Track bar adjustment down. 4 tires. Fill it up with Sunoco fuel is the call.
Jamie, for Carl Edwards, just a hair snug in the middle of the corner, tight off the corner. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment that Drew Blickensderfer said we made yesterday and helped the car. We think it should help again. Doc?
Casey Kane, likewise, free on entry, tight in the middle. They're going to go down a half a pound air pressure on both left side tires to give him some side bite so he can be able to go downstairs and use the bottom groove. Likewise, the 18, Kyle Busch down and away. They were going to make an air pressure change. Kyle said he couldn't get the car going on a restart with low air pressure. Also, Kyle cannot run the bottom groove. So the car is terrible. I have no bite downstairs. They're hoping the air pressure will help that. Guys?
All right, thanks, Doc. I appreciate all the updates. As let's check the race off pit road. As you can see, Kyle picks up 1 spot over Casey Kane, and Brad and Edwards also pick up a spot at the expense of Greg Biffle. So it should be another interesting restart as we get ready to go back to green flag racing here at Bristol. All right, 4 cars did not pit, so let's set it for you. Scott Wimmer's going to be on point. Kelly Byers second, Coleman Presley third, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. fourth. Then it's Kyle Busch. As we go back to green flag racing, Wimmer picks the high side. Now remember, these guys have been on those tires since lap 55. This is lap 96.
Got 3 wide off 2.
Woo, it's going to be tight down here. Hang on. Let's get you updates also as we're back to green flag racing quickly. Morgan Shepherd got a penalty for too many men over the wall. We'll get you the waiver rounds as quickly as we can. Nemechek, Mike Wallace, Derek Cope, Kenny Wallace, Josh Wise, and Andy Ponstein. So now you're up to date, and we're green flag racing with a log jam.
Yeah, and this is where these guys really have to show some patience. Kyle Busch caught down on the inside. Looks like the upper side is moving a little bit faster. He'll have to really be patient right now.
Yeah, because once you're pinned down there, unless the guy in front of you moves, you're not going anywhere.
You can see he's behind Coleman Presley in the 23, who's done a really nice job.
Yeah, but he doesn't have fresh tires like these cars do, and he's going to get freight train. You see now, Joey Logano making the pass. Now he finds a hole to get up right in front of Greg Biffle.
Yeah, Kyle squeezes in front of the 27. Now it's Brad Keselowski's turn to try and find a spot.
Good luck.
Whoa, Coleman almost slid up into the 18. They managed to skate through that one. Now you'll see the 22 duck up to the high side. As here comes Keselowski in front of Trevor Bayne, and oh, Bayne goes a little high, but Allgaier cannot take advantage. Neither can Harvick in the 33.
While this is going on, Dale Jr. has 2 cars up in the top 2.
Some great side-by-side short track racing, Bristol style. As there you can see now, as is the 27 trying to hold off Brad Keselowski. Now, let's go up to the front, and Scott Wimmer doing very well, Jamie Little.
Well, he is, and the reason he got the lead there is he stayed out on that stop. They actually came in and pitted lap 57. He was really loose, so they had to come in and pit. Now, he said the car is really good on the right side. You see his team owner, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Jr. has been smiling and having a great time so far this race. Now, it was just announced this week this 7 car will be on the racetrack for the rest of the season, sponsored or not, and they are looking at drivers, but Scott Wimmer right now leading, will be in the race at the next stop. Dave?
Jamie, a great rebound for Kelly Byers now, who had those early issues, stayed out on this pit stop. Let's review when he pitted last time under the lap 54 caution. They took on 4 tires and lowered that track bar to try to tighten the car up. He can stay out a good 130 laps or so on fuel. We'll see how it works out for him.
And while you finish up, we saw the action going on for 5th, 6th, and 7th. That's Ricky Stenhouse. Remember, he's on 55 lap older tires. And here you go with the 18, Kyle Busch going underneath him.
Yeah, and it's really going to be a while before that amount of laps on the tires starts to make a difference, Andy. You said you found out yesterday Carl Edwards had 70-some laps on the tire and ran his fastest lap.
Yeah, I talked to Blickensderfer, his crew chief, and he said that their fastest lap in practice, they had 70 laps on the tires. They were making changes with their car and felt like they made it better, but it just tells you that this tire holds up well.
Joey Logano going underneath. the 6 of Stenhouse, and here comes Greg Biffle to follow suit as well. But as we swing back towards the front, Kelly Byers still has that piece dangling from the back of the car. As he has been told by NASCAR officials, he will have to fix that next time they pit.
Yeah, but he did not make a pit stop this last time. That's why you see it still out there. But NASCAR is going to give him that option to clean it up when they make their next stop.
And there you can see the back end of it as Casey Kane clears him and takes over second position. So right now, here comes Carl Edwards trying to put him back to 4th.
I tell you, Casey Kane has really been impressive today. He's made passes, most of them on the outside. We see Carl take that 3rd spot away, but Casey has been able to pass that on the inside too. So clearly the car to beat today so far.
Well, remember, as we look at this schedule, holy smokes, this is getting good all over the place.
Well, Stenhouse is doing a good job of working the outside, and Joey Logano just can't make the pass down there, and it's really costing him. You see right here, Brad Keselowski might get this spot away from Logano. The 20 car is definitely faster. He just can't get past that 6 car because he's got the groove.
Yeah, and he just can't get in the throttle like he needs to. I would say his car is probably loose right now. The air pressures are down, and he's just not able to make that car go off the corner and accelerate like he wants to, and he's losing 2 and 3 spots.
And Brad Keselowski, I don't think, wants to try the high side that high to try and go around on the 6 car up there because you're going to get up into the marbles.
No, but he's able to stay in that spot right there. It looks like he's going to take that spot away from Joey Logano, and then he can go up and negotiate and try to get around the 6 car after that.
And that's starting to work for him. And here comes Trevor Bayne saying, hey, if it worked for him, maybe it'll work for me too. Let's go back to the front because Casey Kane is now making a move to retake the lead. We've had 4 different leaders. Now we have our 5th lead change.
You see some damage on Scott Wimmer's car right there on the hood area.
Yeah, that's where he got into the back of the 11 car that created the big accident down in turns 1 and 2 a little bit earlier.
So Casey Kane, who has led a total of 14 laps, retakes the lead. Let's go back to the battle for 9th on the track. There's Joey Logano in that mix along with Brendan Gaughan, and right in front is Greg Biffle, who has 9th place. And here's the battle for 6th with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Brad Keselowski, and Keselowski trying to go underneath him.
Yeah, Stenhouse not going to give up that outside groove. Now he's going to use it to his advantage as long as he can, but I do believe that Keselowski will be able to make this pass.
Stenhouse looking for some better results. His best finish so far this season was 30th back at Las Vegas. So right now, him running in the top 10 is where he needs to be. They are fighting desperately to get more sponsorship on that car.
Yeah, and you can see Brad Keselowski doing a nice job there, kind of moving Stenhouse up in the center of the corner and then accelerating on the exit to take that spot away.
And once he gets past him, he quickly opens up a little bit of ground on him and is starting to pull away. So Brad Keselowski ensconced in 6th position. His next target will be the Kelly Byers 88. Remember, Kelly, one of those 4 cars that did not pit, and he's sort of falling back through the field. I can tell you that Carl Edwards, while we were watching the battle for 6th, has gotten around Scott Wimmer, put Edwards into 2nd position.
Yeah, he's a couple of tenths faster than the leader right now, Casey Kane. So we're going to see a challenge for the lead here in a few laps while we watch this battle.
That's Justin Allgaier. We're on board with Kevin Harvick. And right up in front of them is the 62. There's what it looks like from outside. Logano, then Brendan Gaughan, Justin Allgaier, Kevin Harvick. That's all for position on the racetrack, 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th.
Yeah, and I would venture to say that majority of the races of those 5 that Kevin Harvick's won here was being right on the bottom of the racetrack, and that's not the fastest way around right now.
Kevin, of course, got his first win as a car owner in his own car right here. And as we go back to the race lead, the 38 of Casey Kane may have a problem. Doc, what's going on?
Just radioed in, Marty, that the water and oil temperature are just started going up very, very briskly. He said, I'm concerned. Stuart Cooper, the crew chief, talking with him now, saying it looks like the grill may be pushed in a little bit when you were trying to work through traffic, so we'll be ready to cool it off. They had turned the fans off during the red flag, and I think he had forgotten to turn one of the fans back on.
And we've got a crash in James Busher.
Yeah, we've got another car on the wall also, Coleman Presley.
23 of Coleman Presley as well. Coleman's got the back end all smashed in.
We'll fix it right
and
here.
Trevor Bayne involved in his 2nd incident of the day. So it ends up being a 3-car deal.
1 and the 99 have already had a issue earlier in the race, and we'll have to go back and see the replay here because we didn't catch that live.
Bain was running 12th. Presley was running 16th.
I was thinking that Coleman Presley may have slowed down and got hit from the rear and turned after all of this had taken place.
Ooh.
I think that answers that.
Boy, Buscher just went right up into him. And then...
See, right behind him, Coleman Presley probably got out of the gas because of this accident in front and got hit from behind.
Well, this was, as I said, the 1 and the 99 had problems earlier, and that sure looked like a little bit of payback right there.
I don't know if anybody's going to benefit from that deal, that's for sure. Looks like Casey Kane, you can see on the right side of your screen, yes, he has come down pit road. As remember, they were having heating issues.
Yeah, he has to give up that track position, but you can't stay out there. If that temperature is up out of the zone that you feel like that you can finish the race, you've got to fix it.
Vince?
Well, Jerry Baxter, the crew chief, just told his crew, if we lose a lap or two, don't worry about it. Let's make sure we get it fixed right. And Trevor Bain immediately called over, as guys you indicated, he thought he was turned on purpose. And you see the damage on the right side. They continue to work on the 99, and it's unfortunate because they had just had a great stop after that red flag that put them back into the top 10. Doc?
Well, this was a big break for Casey Kane. They were going to have to pit within 4 or 5 laps anyway. Now he is on pit road, the hood up there, pulling the grill out, and they have the cool down hose engaged. And they're going to try to force cold water in through the engine. That's why they have the hose attached there, you see, and they're trying to peel the tape away from the front grill. Kane would have had to pit in less than 10 laps, so a huge break getting the yellow flag for him to be able to come on pit road here.
And the crew, as you can see, the steam is already reduced markedly over that overflow. As this all continues under our 4th caution of the day, we'll remind you that you are watching ESPN on ABC.
ESPN is your NBA destination. Tomorrow night, ESPN shoots a doubleheader. First at 8 Eastern, Tim Duncan and the Spurs face Joe Johnson and the Hawks. Then at 10:30 Eastern, Brandon Roy and the Trailblazers take on Steve Nash and the Suns. It's an NBA special edition on ESPN and ESPN360.com tomorrow. Just past halfway here at Bristol Motor Speedway, Casey Kane gave up the lead to Carl Edwards just before the fourth caution flag waved. Edwards is out in front of Scott Wimmer, Kyle Busch, Kelly Byers, and Brad Keselowski, while Kane has been on pit road trying to get an overheating problem cured on his car, and he has fallen well back into the field. Let's check out what they've been trying to do to help that 38 car. For that, we go... First, let's show you what they've been doing under the hood on pit road.
It looks like the grill's all clogged up a little bit. They got to put a little water in this thing right now to cool it down, and that's what they're doing also, because the water temperature gauge is buried in this car of his, and so they're cooling it off, getting the grill fixed. You need to take a little time now, but don't get lapped on the racetrack. That's what they're paying attention to right now. Looks like they're going to close the hood here in a second and get them back out there. I'd probably come back in, though, and try to address this thing again, Brad.
Yeah, it looks like that'd be the best thing to do, especially as they're pumping that cold water into that race car, trying to cool that motor off.
Let's get a little more idea of what they're doing under the hood. We go to our Craftsman Tech Garage. Tim Brewer's show and tell time. Tim?
Thanks, Alan. What they're trying to do, folks, is replenish the water supply. By using the cool down system, the water is actually pumped in. And Brad, to answer your question, they actually pump the cold water into the radiator first to keep from hurting the engine. See the flapper valve right here? But after they get it full, they've got a sight tube right here that tells them that they have adequate water in the system, but they still have to go back and put a little charge of nitrogen to it to put pressure back on the system to make sure that the engine's cooled properly. Marty?
All right, thanks, Tim. And there is Casey Kane, as he is shown now in 25th position. We can tell you Kenny Wallace got the lucky dog as he gets back on the lead lap. We have 27 cars now on the lead lap. In fact, we also can tell you that the 11 car of Brian Scott has come back out onto the racetrack. He is now 40 laps down. A couple of penalties, Shelby Howard in the 70 and also Eric McClure in the 24, although we did not get clarification yet on what those penalties were for. While we find out those stats, let's also talk about our leader, Dave Burns. All right, obviously a minor glitch with Dave. We'll find out as soon as we can from him. It is Carl Edwards up front with Wimmer second, Kyle Busch third, Kelly Byers fourth, Brad Keselowski fifth, Greg Biffle in sixth, Joey Logano seventh. Then it's Brendan Gaughan, Justin Allgaier, Kevin Harvick rounding out your top 10. Pace car pulls down off of turn 4, and again the race leader has selected the outside lane. Green flag flies. We're back to racing here at Bristol.
I think Kelly Byers is seeing this his opportunity to get his car up into that second spot again.
Boy, Carl Edwards pulls out quickly on Kelly Byers. We can tell you the 70 was for a rolling tire on Shelby Howard, 24 Eric McClure improper fueling, so that gets you updated on everything. We're back to the racing out on the track, and boy, Carl's trying to hide. I don't think he's going to be too successful after a while, but he's got a good start going right now. Greg Biffle in third, Kyle Busch in fourth, and Wimmer's getting past.
Yeah, Wimmer's caught down on that inside like we saw Joey Logano earlier. It seems like he's really paid the price when you can't get up in that outside groove.
Yeah, he's going to go from second all the way down to, well, another lap. He's going to be outside the top 10 at this pace.
Yeah, that's one thing that hampered Kyle Busch on this restart is he had to start on the inside. He's got himself back to the 4th spot now, but he sees Carl Edwards driving away a little bit as he has traffic between them.
Harvick taking a look underneath the 62 of Brendan Gaughan. Thinks better of it at that moment. Here he goes again.
We've seen a lot of guys trying to make these pass on the inside, but it's been very, very difficult. I think the combination of the tire and that safer barrier being moved in is making these passes on the exit much more difficult.
Yeah, you see these teammates, these Penske teammates racing each other now. Justin Allgaier on the inside of Brad Keselowski.
And that
racing
is
each other hard.
That's for 8th on the racetrack as we go on board with Justin. That is Wimmer right in front of him, and a whole lot of discount tire beside him.
Yeah, you see the 12 car make that pass on the inside. He's going to try to move up there and do the same thing to Scott Wimmer, but that's pretty impressive.
Battle for second place as it's Kelly Byers and Greg Biffle, and Byers trying to hang on, Biffle trying to cut underneath him. Can't get it done there. Justin Allgaier underneath on the right side of your screen, Scott Wimmer. That also for position. That is for 7th on the racetrack.
So Justin Allgaier able to make that pass on Scott Wimmer.
Here comes Logano on the high side, but he's going to have to deal with Wimmer as Keselowski still is underneath the 7. Kyle Busch has now gotten into this 3-car mix on the left side of your screen.
Yeah, Biffle tried to drive it into turn 3 really hard and was going to try to put a slide job, but he didn't get quite far enough in front of Kelly Byers.
Yeah, he might pay the price right here if he can't make this pass because he's got Kyle Busch right behind him.
Well, Kelly Byers, last time he pitted was on lap 55, and we are working lap 143.
Yeah, that's the same lap that Scott Wimmer pitted on in the 7 car, and you see now he's under attack by some cars with fresher tires. Joey Logano now starting to move forward.
So Biffle just not able to make that run off the corner where he's having to pedal the throttle a little bit, but Kelly Byers can jump in the gas and use all of that engine on the exit of the corner. Dave?
And guys, this is not his first time racing here, but in talking with Kelly about running this track this weekend, he said, you know what, this is the first time I've been in a truly competitive race car, and I can't wait to start it. Remember, his day didn't start so well, but they've got it together now, and so far, that little piece that was dangling off causing no trouble, just a piece of trim, and NASCAR's not going to make them.
Kyle Busch gets into the 88.
Boy, Kyle turns him, and he's going to hit the wall, and we now have our 5th
Kelly,
caution.
the whole field's coming here. Hold the brakes. They're all going to go low. That's the 18. Just turn. Just no reason.
No reason other than it's Bristol, and sometimes the guy behind gets in the gas quicker, and you know you just get to the gas and you expect that guy to be moving on.
That is really one of the big disadvantages of trying to run out there on tires that are not as good as the cars around you and taking that track position. You're vulnerable for this, and you got faster cars behind you. Sometimes you get run over.
So as we
Still
said,
a bad break though.
Caution waves once again as we get closer to the midway point, working lap 147. And the 73 of Derek Cope will get the lucky dog this time around. And that will bring us back to 28 cars on the lead lap.
In fact, Carl Edwards makes a dive for pit road, so does Kyle Busch. All the leaders coming. A lot of the leaders. Some of them stayed out. Looks like Greg Biffle staying out.
Biffle is staying out. Brendan Gaughan stays out. So does Justin Allgaier and Brad Keselowski.
I'd have to say these guys that have hit pit road now are thinking this is their last pit stop of the day.
Jamie, what's going on with the 7?
Well, Scott Wimmer finally able to pit. He wanted to come in last time, but Pop Zuri Sr., his crew chief, said no, if we stay out a couple more laps, we'll be able to make it to the end. That is the plan. 4 tires. The car is actually really good. Those old tires hurt him earlier, Dave.
And talking strategy with crew chief Drew this morning, he wasn't sure if he pitted this early that he might not stop one more time. Carl overshoots. That's going to cost time, but under these circumstances, it's not as big a deal. They'll take on 4 tires, no chassis adjustments to it this time. He's pretty close to the wall, too, so they're having a little trouble. And now a lot of confusion as they're just going to take 2 and get out of Dodge, Stock.
Half a round up on the track bar for Kyle Busch. Remember the air pressure the time before? He said the car got tight, enter and off, and it would not roll the middle of the corner. They figure a half round up may be just perfect if he can hang in that top lane.
And our Nationwide Insurance race off pit road. You can see Kevin Harvick's crew doing a good job for him today. He's been critical of him in the past. He picks up 1 spot as Kyle drops 1. And Carl Edwards comes back out right where he went in. So we'll take a quick break as we're under caution here at Bristol and take this message and a word from our ABC stations. We've just gone back to green flag racing here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Greg Biffle is your race leader, our 6th different leader right now, with Brendan Gaughan 2nd, Brad Keselowski 3rd, Justin Allgaier 4th, Tony Raines in 5th. Some of those guys did not pit. We can tell you, Casey Kane, remember he restarted 24th? Well, he's already moved up to 11th. And there he is in that 38 car, coming on strong. Carl Edwards right behind him there, and here comes Kyle Busch into the mix as well with Scott Wimmer in the 7. Slow traffic, Morgan Shepherd down on the apron. Everybody gets by him safely.
We're inside of that halfway point now. Laps are going to be winding down. We're going to see guys doing a lot more taking
and a lot less
spots.
given.
That's exactly right. That's what always happens here. What makes this place so exciting.
Well, the 38 of Kane clears Michael Annett as he continues his march towards the top. He's now up to 9th position. Remember, it was Kane who gave Dodge its last win in this series back in August of 2007, right here at this racetrack.
I tell you, he's got a good handling race car because he's working the bottom now, and you saw him earlier in the race working the very top of the racetrack. That's how he made all that ground up and actually got the lead. So he's forced now to work on this bottom because these cars won't give up that top groove.
Well, that's Ricky Stenhouse Jr., and that's for 8th. So it looks like he has got himself a race car right now that is not cooking.
Yeah, and by taking that tape off, a lot of other places we'd be talking about that really affecting the handling of his car, but not here at Bristol.
So Kane moves back up into the 8th position. Next target, Scott Lagasse Jr. And there he goes around Lagasse's. Man, he's got that car going. Now remember, some of these other cars have stayed out there longer. He's got fresher tires.
Yeah, but so does Carl Edwards. You saw him get fresh right sides, and he's not able to keep pace with Casey Kane right now working around this traffic. You can see Casey actually gets a couple cars in between him and Carl Edwards, and Kyle Busch now right behind Carl.
Yeah, we'll have to see how those 2 tires affect Carl Edwards' chance at winning this race. That wasn't what they planned on doing when they came in. Carl slipped through the pits a little bit, and then they decided to abort that and just put the 2 tires on. We'll see how that works for him in the last 50 laps of this race.
You're not missing anything up front. Biffle is leading Brendan Gaughan by 0.3 of a second. It has pretty much stayed that way. And we've been sort of focusing on where all the passing has been going on here at this half-mile Bristol Motor Speedway. And here goes Edwards. Look out. Could get a little dicey there. He gets under Stenhouse. Can he make it stick?
You can see the back end kick out a little bit on Carl Edwards' car right there.
These are teammates racing side by side.
Kyle Busch is going to try that high side. He's thinking that maybe Stenhouse might hold Carl Edwards off and he can pick up a spot like that.
Yeah, Stenhouse might actually get trapped behind this 34 car.
And that's for position. I mean, Tony Raines is fighting along with Lagasse for 7th right now. So some great battles going on. Some of these cars on a lot older tires than some of the others. And here comes Carl Edwards on fresher rubber and getting around him. And now Kyle Busch gets blocked. Yeah. Battle for second place starting to get a little closer. Here comes Justin Allgaier. Remember, he finished 5th here last year, his first trip to Bristol and his first top 5 in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. He's got Brendan Gaughan in his sights. Up ahead is race leader Greg Biffle. Vince, what's the latest on the 62?
What a great run for Brendan Gaughan. Remember, he didn't have the greatest qualifying effort, started 22nd, but he was confident that Brad Parrott would have him a good race car, and that is exactly the case. You get a good look at Brad Parrott there, second on the right of your screen. And Brendan Gaughan told me earlier today, he said, I'm not the best when it comes to setup, but Brad Parrott's got enough knowledge and experience for both of us. I think we'll have a good car. Certainly has been the case, but they've got about 64 laps on these tires right now.
Well, I talked to these guys back in the garage area earlier this weekend, and Brad was saying Toyota gives me so much data. He says I'm having difficulty sorting it all out right now and making it work to Brendan's driving style.
Yeah, it's one of those things when you talk about chemistry, trying to get everybody working together, and they do have a lot of data now coming from the Toyota engineers and all the other teams, and it has paid off, though. I mean, you look at what's going on right here. Brendan Gaughan's having a great race. He's running right down right now, trying to look on the outside of Greg Biffle for the lead.
For more on Greg Biffle, let's check in with Jamie Little.
Well, this is the 4th consecutive race that he has led this year. The team is ecstatic right now. Greg just told his crew, I am too tight to run down on the bottom, so he's just trying to run for all it's worth up top. He told me before he got in the car, he feels like the California race was his and it got away. He is so hungry to get a win. Keep in mind, while watching Greg Biffle, it has been 5 years since this team has gone to victory lane.
Well, his only short track victory in 20 career wins came at O'Reilly Raceway Park back in August of 2002. All right, take a look at the top 5 at the top of your screen as we are working lap number 172 of 300 at Bristol. It's not over yet.
Riding with Justin Allgaier at Bristol, and if you are a check the motorsports calendar first. Saturday night showdown at Bristol. NASCAR legends Pearson, Yarborough, many more are going to run a 35-lap race for charity here at Bristol. That's tonight at 5:30 Eastern on ESPN2. Then the NHRA drag racing, the 4-wide Nationals from Charlotte. Qualifying next Saturday, 7 Eastern. Finals next Sunday, 5 Eastern. That on ESPN2. Something new in drag racing. That should be fun to watch. The Eyes on IndyCar Series is at St. Petersburg. Danica Patrick et al. In the field on the streets there. Next Sunday, 3:30 Eastern on ABC. And then the NASCAR Nationwide Series in Nashville, 3:30 Eastern. That is coming up a week from next Saturday, April the 3rd. That's on ESPN. That's the next race for this NASCAR Nationwide Series. And as we ride along with Justin Allgaier, I want to mention that if you're a Verizon Wireless customer, text the word champion to 43776 for an exclusive Champions Chat from our NASCAR Now Roundtable experts. Every Monday when we're gathered up in our ESPN studios, we talk about a particular topic of the week that interests us, and it's available to you if you're a Verizon Wireless customer by texting that to that. Check it out. In the pit studio with Rusty Wallace and Brad Daugherty watching the first 2/3 of this race unfold. Rusty, Greg Biffle is leading on older tires. Casey Kane has had the dominant car, trying to come back through after overheating problems. Got Edwards and Kyle Busch trying to pick their way back through after pitting recently. How do you make sense of all that?
Oh, there's a lot of stuff to take a look at right there. No doubt about that, guys. But I'm pretty impressed with this tire that these guys brought here, that Goodyear's brought this week. This is the same 4 tires they developed for the Brickyard 400 in Indianapolis. In fact, it's the same compound right here. You see these top 3 guys, they haven't pitted. They pitted last time on lap 92 and they're still going. But you know, as I'm looking back through the field a little bit, the guy I'm really concerned about right now is actually Casey Kane. He had that motor overheating real bad, Brad. And boy, when you get a motor that hot, you just don't know if it's going to last.
Out in front of the leaders. The leaders are right in the middle of that. Oh, Greg Biffle sneaks through. Oh, but Brendan Gaughan doesn't.
Oh, man, I'll tell you what.
We're in it, Brad.
We saw Tony Raines get a little sideways there. And Shelby Howard had nowhere to go and just, oh man, tore up some
And
good race
Casey
cars.
Kane.
Oh man, tore up some good race cars. Brendan Gaughan was having a heck of a run, doing a great job. Had that car up front, was just managing those tires. He had a lot of laps on those tires, and boy, just nowhere to go.
So caution out for the 6th time. Marty, Andy, and DJ, we're going to get the answers to some of those strategy questions now in a minute, but boy, that was close for some of the leaders.
Yeah, it was, and a tough break for Casey Kane because we were watching and we were all pretty much in agreement that it looked like he had the best race car out there at that particular stretch.
Yeah, right behind, right behind them were the leaders racing really hard. Keselowski, Biffle, and Allgaier. Looks like Keselowski wound up with the lead when the caution came out.
Go back and take a look at it. Now watch the 34.
Tony Raines just kind of caught in the middle there, and Shelby Howard gets into him. And they get together again.
Kenny Wallace gets through, but not Brendan Gaughan and not the 38 of Casey Kane. Justin Allgaier, bam.
Well, things, as we said, just happened so quickly here. You got basically one chance to try to make a move, and those guys just didn't have enough room.
On board with Casey Kane.
Right here, you can see that happening.
Check up, get low, get low.
You just can't get your car slowed down enough.
Yeah, you wanted to stop it, just
do it. Yeah, these are 3,400-pound cars.
See right there, Biffle had the lead through all that. Out comes Keselowski.
Big hit. Take a look at Greg Biffle. Keep an eye on the 27.
This happens directly in front of Greg Biffle. You talk about being lucky. Well, he got slowed down.
Tell you what, give credit to Allgaier because he could have gotten into Biffle and could have taken them both along for the ride.
Really paying attention.
Shelby Howard is out of the car, and he'll make the mandatory trip to the infield care center. And there's the crew already at work on Brendan Gaughan's car. Could tell you the 73 of Derek Cope will get the lucky dog. That'll give us 25 cars back on the lead lap.
As I think, and watching that last run, if Carl Edwards is going to have a chance to win this race, I think he's going to have to pit with those guys here, get tires back on this thing again.
Well, our aerial coverage is brought to you by DirecTV. Learn how to win $1 million. Just go to directv.com/NASCAR. Thank you guys for the great pictures from high above the world's fastest half-mile track. Our 6th caution of the day, as we've had a total of 32 laps under caution now, and there's the mess that was a very good race car for Casey Kane back in the garage area.
Yeah, just quite a few things stacked up against that team today. The engine running hot and had to make that pit stop and get back in the field, and then got caught up in this. Pit road is still closed for that cleanup. We're going to have to see what these leaders are going to do. Now, Greg Biffle needs to make a pit stop. His last stop was at lap 92. So he'll need to make one more pit stop. And we're going to see some of the cars that have made pit stops. Some of them can go the rest of the way, but will they stay out or will they pit here? It'll be interesting to see.
Well, and remember, we were talking about Casey Kane. He restarted at 24th, 25th, I think it was. He is, when the crash happened, he was 5th. And Doc, you've caught up with him?
I have, and Casey has climbed out of the car. And Casey, I heard you apologizing to the crew. It didn't look like you had much of a reason to go anywhere.
No, I was entering on the top, and we were running pretty quick, not using a lot of brake. But as soon as it happened, I just hit the brakes, slowed down as quick as I could, and then as they were coming down the track, I was going down, and we just kind of all got together. But the circumstances where we were, we had a really fast, great clips Toyota, and I couldn't get by the 6. He's kind of running from the bottom to the top throughout just one corner. He was all over. So I gave him a nudge on the front stretch and broke the front end of the car, and then so it overheated. So we had to fix that. Then we go, and we're coming back through and running good again, and that happened. So it was just a rough day, but we had a fast car.
Casey came from 24th all the way back to 5th. Vince.
The 12 of of Justin Allgaier is in the box. They made a track bar adjustment back to where the car was set up originally because he was very fast in that first stint. He said it was way too tight the last 5 or 6 laps. Jamie.
And Greg Biffle was the leader. He has a little bit of fender damage from that run-in earlier on the track. 4 tires, no adjustments. He's thirsty, needs a drink, and that is the call for Greg Biffle. Dave?
Drew Blickensurfer said, let's force their hand. We're coming for 4. We're going to make a wedge adjustment just a little bit tight in the center of the corner, and then we'll let you race your way back through. Doc?
Add the 22 car in. That is Brad Keselowski. 4 tires are going to add some air pressure to the right side tires. The car just not getting the grip he wanted to try to get him back on him where he can very comfortable, though, in the middle of the corner. Want to get the car to be able to turn coming up off under throttle.
Well, let's take a look at the race off pit road, courtesy of Nationwide Insurance. Brad Keselowski picks up 2 spots. Good work for the 22 crew. Biffle, Allgaier each lose a spot. Carl picks up 2. And Mike Bliss, well, he drops 5 in that last round. Stay with us. Well, let's get caught up on what's happened so far with our 5-hour Energy Rapid Recap. And Brad Keselowski, as you can see right from the start of the race, having some issues. We found out later that the tire pressures were low and the car was sort of scuffing its way around the track. And then for Joe Gibbs Racing, who has never won here in the Nationwide Series, all of a sudden the 20 and the 18 got very racy as they kept moving towards the front. And Steve Wallace involved in this melee that also caught up Brian Scott as he gets turned by Scott Wimmer. And then there goes Colin Brown and Wallace right into him where he had nowhere to go. And then Casey Kane came back from overheating problems where they dropped all the way back to 24th position and ended up cooling the car down, and he got hot right up until this moment when he got swept up in another multi-car crash and unfortunately had fought his way back to 5th and now finds himself behind the wall. We're getting ready to go back to green. Let's set it for you. 4 cars stayed out. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Leffler, Townley, Menard. Those are the 4 that stayed out. The wave rounds include Keller, Ponstein, McClure, and Josh Wise. And we're back to green flag racing here on lap number 197. Boy, and Stenhouse gets real high, and he is getting freight train on the right-hand side of your screen. Just say bye-bye. Race lead, give it to Leffler now in the 10. That gives us our 9th different leader. The record, I believe, I'm going to check it, I think it's 10, guys, so we may be closing in on a record. Here comes Brad Keselowski, Paul Menard, and Greg Biffle.
Brad Keselowski's crew did a great job getting him out there.
And we're going to get another caution, our 7th. We've got debris on the front stretch. So here at the Scotts Turf Builder 300, we've almost made it to the 2/3 mark of the race. And we are now looking at what will happen as far as this final stretch. Fuel should not be an issue for anybody. Tires seem to be wearing pretty doggone good. What do you think, crew chief?
Yeah, they're probably made their last pit stop, so we're going to see a lot of, like they'll see a lot of racing, and everybody's going to be trying to take more than they're giving here in this last part of this race, this last 100 laps.
And let me correct myself. It's a new record, 4 leaders, 9. The old record was 8. I was off by a couple. It gives us a moment to dial up our in-race reporter, Carl Edwards. Let's turn it over to you, DJ.
Hey, Carl, DJ, you have a copy?
4, but then I looked down the front because they were screaming about that, so that didn't work out quite like we needed it to.
10-4, yeah, I got you, DJ.
Hey, man, I'll make this kind of simple. Tell us about your car, the racetrack, and what you expect here in these last 100 laps.
Our Copart Fusion is good. It's better than our position right now. You know, I slid through my pit stall. We only got 2 tires that last run, and we were still pretty competitive. So now we've got 4, and the track hasn't changed a lot. The track's stayed pretty much the same. We just, you know, got to have a good restart here, and if we can get up by a couple of these guys, I think we're going to be good.
Hey, Carl, we've seen making a pass on the inside be very difficult. Can you explain to our viewers what is making that so difficult?
Oh, well, they did such a great job with the racetrack. They made every lane. You're able to run the same speed in every lane. And so what happens when you run under someone, you get loose sometimes because of the air. You know, it doesn't seem like we're going that fast, but the air is still a big part of it. and it just makes it hard to complete that pass. Plus, they get that little run off of the hill around the top, so it ends up being, you know, exactly the same speed on top and bottom, makes it hard to pass.
Hey, have you seen that safer barrier that they added, making any difference to the racing and what you have to do as a driver?
I saw it real well a couple times, but no, it doesn't seem to make much of a difference. You know, if I didn't know it was there, I probably wouldn't have noticed the change. So if it's safer, that's good.
Outside.
Okay, man, good luck.
Hey, thanks a lot.
All right, let's also tell you that 28 of Kenny Wallace gets the lucky dog. That gives us 25 cars back on the lead lap. And Carl will restart in the 8th position behind Leffler, Brad Keselowski, Biffle, Menard, Allgaier, Townley, and Kyle Busch. How about Super Chef Jamie Oliver? You know who he is? Well, you will. He's coming to the unhealthiest city in America to start the ultimate food fight, and what he does here could change an entire nation. Jamie Oliver's Food Revolution. It's a 2-hour premiere Friday at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, but a special sneak preview tomorrow at 10 Eastern right here on ABC. Lights out on the pace car, so Leffler gets the choice, and again we're going to see him choose the outside lane. And we have just passed the 2/3 mark. We'll have 98 laps to go this time by. Pace car pulls off. Leffler, our 9th different leader, with Brad Keselowski right underneath him, and we're back to green flag racing here at Bristol.
Well, Keselowski did a great job on that restart. Now he's got the lead from the inside.
Well, remember, Keselowski's got fresher tires than Leffler by almost 45 laps. And it's showing right there as Keselowski really opens it up. That's our 16th different lead change.
Yeah, but just like Carl Edwards said, these two cars running side by side. You can see how they come off the corner about the same speed. Even though the 10-car Leffler has more laps on his tires, he's able to still hold that position off of Greg Biffle.
Paul Menard in the 98. John West Townley gets a little high, but the 60 of Carl Edwards cannot get under him. He still runs side by side with Kyle Busch. Right behind that group is the 20 of Joey Logano and the 33 of Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, Carl's in a situation there. He's not sure which one of these lanes. The outside has been the preferred lane on these restarts, but it really wasn't moving, so he moved down. Now he's back to the top.
Well, what he's looking at, he sees some cars in the outside lane that don't have fresh tires. He's thinking, that's oh, here we go.
Got a spin going around as Joe Nemechek has made contact with the wall. And that will bring out the caution once again. He was 21st at the time of the spin, and that should be our 8th caution of the day.
See, everybody's taking just a little bit more of that room for themselves in this last 100 laps. Don't know what happened with this, but
now we're going to get a look right here. There's Derek Cope in the 73. Oh, he got loose.
Yeah, he just got loose and got into Joe. Not much, it didn't happen intentionally. It was just not enough room.
Well, we're going to take a quick break. Don't expect too many cars, at least none of the front runners, to pull into pit road. So we'll step aside here at Bristol as we still got about 93 laps to go.
ESPN's coverage of the NASCAR Nationwide Series on ABC. Brought to you by the makers of Zantac, heartburn relief that lasts up to 12 hours. And Sears, life well spent.
Back here at Bristol, we are under caution once again, as for the 7th time, Brad Keselowski is our race leader. Tell you, Jason Keller in the 35 will get the lucky dog. That'll bring 26 cars back on to the lead lap. It's not the first time Brad Keselowski's been out in front here at Bristol. Remember, way back in August of 2008, started all the way back in the 37th spot, courtesy of Clint Boyer getting a little loose there. He scooted on past and came around to take the checkered flag in the night race and drive on up to victory lane here at Bristol Motor Speedway. And you want to talk about comebacks. Remember we said he started 37th? It's not the only one, but it is one of the best as far as coming all the way back. Take a look at this. 38th for Kevin Harvick back in April of 2005 was the deepest anybody has come, but you can see Bobby Labonte, Steve Grissom, and Casey Kane's win in 2007 as well. Let's get more on Brad. Doc, what you have?
Marty, you mentioned he came all the way from 37th to win that race, and what he is most proud of when he goes back and watches that tape is the fact that when he got to victory lane, there was not a single scratch on that race car. That's hard to believe coming from the back of the field of Bristol, and that's what he did this week. He said, I went back when I got here on Thursday and watched the tape of that race to remind me I've got to be very, very patient here at Bristol.
Well, and his day started, if you missed a countdown, with a meeting mandatory by NASCAR with his car owner and along with Carl Edwards and his car owner, and they hashed out all the differences. And from that point on, it's been a little bit eventful out on the racetrack as well, but it's always that way here at Bristol, as he's going to choose the outside lane with Leffler inside of him, then Biffle, Menard, Allgaier, Townley. That's your top 6. Boy, and he has been good on these last 2 restarts.
Yeah, it looks like they've got the tire pressures where he wants them, and certainly got him out in front of the rest of the guys that pitted that last time, and that's been a big advantage for him.
Yeah, we heard Doc say when they made their last pit stop, they actually went up on the right side tire pressures, and I think that's one thing that's helping him get going right on these starts. He really struggled at the beginning of the race getting going on cold tires.
Yeah, we showed you that on the recap. I mean, he had the car even bottoming out, he was reporting on the radio. On board with Justin Allgaier, that's Paul Menard. That is for position on the racetrack. Menard's 4th, Allgaier wants it. They're still going to be side by side heading down into 3. Here comes Kyle Busch, look out. He backs off a little bit, gives him some space, and Menard on the high side still going around. John West Townley, this is another good run for him, Jamie.
Well, it certainly is, Marty. What a weekend it's been for this team. First practice out, he had a spin, hit the wall, went to a backup car. Second practice, the backup car caught on fire. They had a lot of electrical damage. They brought a 3rd car, but they were able to fix this car up. He's out here. He started 14th, guys. He's been running top 10 now for quite a few laps. Way to go, John West Townley, the rookie this year.
And right behind him is the 33 of Kevin Harvick, and 2 cars away is Carl Edwards. And again, they had a few words for each other throughout the course of the weekend. But so far, everybody has been giving everybody the needed space, so to speak.
So far.
It's 84 laps to go.
Yeah. We haven't gotten down to crunch time yet, literally. Can tell you that Derek Cope has come in. Oh, and on pit road, there was a crash between the 34 Tony Raines coming out, Derek Cope going in. No serious damage to either car, though, folks. So we'll keep the action right out on the racetrack for you, because there is now the gap. Brad Keselowski by 0.7 of a second over Greg Biffle, and he's back to 3rd. Then 4th is Justin Allgaier, almost another second back. And I want to ask you guys, all of a sudden now we're seeing a couple of cars trying to pull away, and we're seeing the biggest gaps of the day. Why?
Well, you got some cars on different strategies. You got the 22 car now. He's made some adjustments to his car. No, he's got a fast car. He's set on the pole, and now he's out front. But running second, you see Jason Leffler, and he's got older tires, but he's holding in there pretty well running second.
Yeah, and I think it's a product that Kyle Busch and Carl Edwards, who I think have the 2 next best cars here, got caught back in traffic on those restarts, and so that's giving Brad Keselowski a chance to get out front and get gone.
Kyle Busch, Justin Allgaier, that is, for the 4th position on the racetrack. You know, you mentioned as we continue to watch that battle, Jason Leffler, as he has got the older tires of everybody in the top 6 positions. Well, Leffler has top 10 finishes in 4 of his last 5 Bristol races. As this battle continues, we're going to step aside with 78 laps to go. Brad Keselowski still out in front. That gives you an idea just how far he is in front of this field. We'll be back after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Our aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. Learn how to win $1 million. Just go to directv.com/NASCAR. We're here at Bristol Motor Speedway under our 8th caution of the day. Well, with 72 laps to go, the race leads held by Brad Keselowski. Let's go back and show you exactly why we are under this caution. Keep an eye on the 23.
You can see Coleman Presley there trying to make a pass on Mike Bliss, but car pushed up into him. Yeah.
I just wonder if that wall being, just a little bit, taking some of that racing room away from those guys didn't have even contribute to this just a little bit.
He had a great run going, guys. He was running 15th at the time.
That was for position.
You can see the net result of the damage as he nursed it back to pit road. Let's let you also know that during this caution so far, Reed Sorensen in the 32 and John West Townley both pitted and picked up some fresh tires and Sunoco racing fuel as they're ready to go back. And Kenny Wallace, we got to give him some love time because this is the third time he's gotten the lucky dog. Man. There he is. And he stays on the track and let's see, in 21st position right now. So he keeps working his way closer into the top 20. John West Townley right in front of him in 20th position. John West fell back right after we had talked about him. And in front of him is the 32 of Reed Sorensen.
Yeah.
Now
you
here
see
is,
this,
go ahead.
Kelly Byers right here. What a job, man, he has done. He got his car torn up really good in that one crash, and they fixed it back, and he's driven himself all the way back up into the 11th spot.
Right. Now he was 28th back on lap number 149, and right now running 11th. So a good comeback with a car that
you see that left corner right there. I mean, it's caved in pretty good, but they've done a good job of keeping that spoiler up there where it needs to be.
And Scott Lagacy has had an eventful day, all the way back to 30th at one point, and he has now fought his way back to the 12th position. How about Mike Bliss? He's running 13th after being as low as 41st in this field. Then Michael Annette, also an eventful day for him. He had dropped back as far as 38th, currently his 14th on the racetrack. And the 05, and this is a guy we haven't mentioned all day, but boy, you talk about giving some credit to a team that doesn't have a lot of money. Willie Allen, his slow spot of the day was 28th, but right now, Willie running in the 15th position. Right alongside Mike Wallace, who turned 51 back on March 10th, so we'll wish him a belated happy birthday. He let me know that daughter Chrissy's going to be in one of his team cars at Talladega, so we'll see her again. And there you see the 6 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. He's had an eventful day, as you can see. Again, a lot of cars have gone 29th, 30th, even as far as 41st. He's come back to 17th. We're getting ready to go back to Green Flag Racing. It is Brad Keselowski on the high side, Leffler, Biffle, Allgaier, and Edwards. That's your top 5. And again, boy, I'll tell you what, Brad has got himself dialed.
Yeah, and his teammate got a nice break there too by being able to start up on that outside, and he's going to get himself into second.
So Justin, Team Penske running 1-2, third place right now with Jason Leffler. We already documented how well he has run here at Bristol, getting into the top 5. And there's Carl Edwards in 4th, and here comes Kyle trying that low side underneath Greg Biffle.
Yeah, and Carl Edwards got a nice break there by being on the outside too. He was able to pick up a couple of spots, got himself in a good position if he can hold off Kyle Busch right here.
Kyle trying to make that low side work, down into 3. Joey Logano just a couple of cars further back, and Scott Wimmer, who is giving that 7 ride its best run of the year so far.
Yeah, we've seen Logano there in the 20 car struggle for most of the day, not being able to make passes, but he's got himself in a position now that anything can happen here with 65 laps to go.
Yeah, Carl Edwards going to do everything he can to try to keep Kyle Busch down on the bottom and make him heat those tires up. And I'm sure that's what these drivers are thinking about when they get in this situation. Even though it looks like that 18 car might be a little bit better, if I can hold him down there just a little bit longer, maybe his tires will heat up and I can get by him.
Brad Daugherty in the beginning of the day during Countdown was talking about he thought the trouble area was going to be turn 2. It's starting to get into the shade there, as you can see. Is that going to make that any better or worse?
It could possibly cool that off a little bit more grip. The concrete doesn't change quite as much with the temperature, but it certainly has been an area that we've seen have quite a few things there, but could be better. You see Kyle Busch decide to slide back in behind Carl, and he'll try to make another effort at him without losing any more spots.
And Joey Logano's trying to go underneath the 27 right now.
I'd say right here, Kyle Busch going to try to squeeze up on the outside of the 60 car, kind of swap roles on him. You see now he's going to get just a nose up on the outside of Carl.
On the right side of the screen, the battle for 10th. Kelly Byers is taking the position away from Paul Menard. So despite all the damage, Byers keeps plugging away. Oh, and look at this. Little bump and run. Here comes on the outside Kyle Busch. He nudged Carl just a little, but now Carl's coming back on him. Down the back straightaway, heading into 3.
Yeah, I was really surprised Carl gave him that much room on the outside, knowing that's what Kyle was trying to do. But Kyle got a nice run off of turn 4. Carl tried to slide up in front of him, but Kyle wasn't having any of that.
So this is the best the 18 car's been since early in the race. There's one section there that they didn't run very well, actually slipped back, but he's going forward now.
So move Kyle up into 4th, and he's starting to pull away from the 60 of Carl Edwards. Not missing anything up front. Brad Keselowski and Justin Allgaier are well out in front by over a second to Jason Leffler in 3rd. So this is the best action on the racetrack as you see Joey Logano and the 27 of Greg Biffle going door to door.
Now this is where Logano's had trouble all day long in trying to make a pass on a car that he's trying to pass for a position down that inside.
2 cars back, you can see Kevin Harvick in this mix as well. We already documented the fact that Harvick has won the most here in series competition 5 times. You know who's second on that list? Morgan Shepherd with 4. And history could be made if Harvick can squeeze his way into the top 5 as he's trying to tie Tommy Houston on that all-time list for top 5 finishes.
He's going to have a chance, I think. He's got a good car. You can see him working out, trying to work on the outside of Scott Wimmer. Scott Wimmer also having a great race.
Yeah, but it hasn't been typical Kevin Harvick. We've seen this team progress, and we expect him to be right up there in the mix of things, and he really hasn't been a factor up in the top 5 for the majority of the day.
Let's let you update on Mike Bliss as he has moved into 11th, getting around Paul Menard. So Menard has dropped 2 positions in about the last 5 or 6 laps. Now let's go back to this side-by-side action for 6th position.
Yeah, no love lost between these 2 guys. We saw them in California racing for the win. Get together a little bit, so they're going to race each other pretty hard.
Well, but remember Joey said, I will not pay him back. He says, I'm not going to take myself out of a potential race-winning situation.
Well, if he's looking for a chance, right here it is. He wants to get
It'd be an easy slip at this racetrack to do it. As we've watched these guys, Kyle Busch has gone into that 3rd spot. These guys are having a great battle right here.
This is sort of settled down for a moment. Let's go back up front and show you the gap as Brad Keselowski leads his teammate Justin Allgaier by almost half a second. There it is. And there's the gap back to 3rd with Kyle Busch. Stay with us. Welcome back to the NASCAR Nationwide Series at Bristol. Make sure you go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. We are under our 10th caution because of an incident involving Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in the Roush Fenway Racing number 6. There is what the car looks like, and this doesn't look too good. Looks like they're going to be pushing it behind the wall. Take you back and show you what happened.
Once again, we see coming out of turn 4 here, 2 cars getting together. That inside car trying to stay off. You turn the wheel a little bit more, and that creates the spin. So he gets into the wall and probably busted the radiator there.
It's the exact same thing we saw with Coleman Presley and Mike Bliss off that corner. And it narrows up.
It's been a tough season for Stenhouse so far. This could be his 3rd DNF. His best finish so far was 30th 3 weeks ago at Las Vegas. That's not the kind you want to write home about. Jamie, what's the latest on the 6?
Well, Ricky Stenhouse, you guys were right. The radiator is the problem. He's leaking water. They're pushing him back. They're going to try to fix it and get him back out there because it's all about experience for this young rookie. He actually told me he's been really worried about his ride this year. And Jack Roush, his boss, called him into the office on Tuesday. Ricky was shaken, and he said, Jack said, if I didn't believe in you and believe you could do this, I wouldn't keep you in the car. So keep doing what you're doing and learn out there.
Thanks for the update, Jamie. One car that's having a great day. There's Justin Allgaier in 2nd place. Vince, what's the latest there?
Well, you know, we're under yellow now, but just before that previous yellow, Kyle Busch had been pressuring Justin Allgaier in his back bumper. Here's the conversation between Allgaier, crew chief Chad Walter, and then right at the end, Roger Penske.
You're doing all right, man. If you got to let him go, let it happen in a hurry. Get back in line.
Good steady work there, Justin. Just good steady. If he's got more than you have, don't remember running for the points. Just use your head, bud.
4, thank you, Roger.
Of course, it's been another good run for Allgaier, who started 30th today. Chad Walter, the crew chief, says there's been a big progression in Justin since last year, saying last year he was fast because he didn't really know any better here. This year, he knows the track, has a handle on it, and he also understands the car better. It's making a big difference in the progression of Justin Allgaier. And I'll tell you what, Allgaier and Chad Walter, they were very confident before this race today, even starting 30th, and it's playing out.
Well, his best finish in his career is 4th earlier this year. There's Roger up on top with Parker Kligerman to the right of our screen. Penske's only NASCAR 1-2 finish, the 2008 Daytona 500. Ryan Newman first, Kurt Busch second. As the pace car is ready to pull down, let's reset it for you. Brad Keselowski, Justin Allgaier on the front row. Then Kyle Busch, Jason Leffler. Row 3, Carl Edwards, Greg Biffle, Logano, Harvick, Byers, and Bliss. That's your top 10. And here we go for the final 44 laps.
I was wanting to see how Allgaier handled this situation starting down the inside. He spun the tires, but got a nice run through turns 1 and 2.
Let me tell you, the 28 got the lucky dog again. There must be a record for Kenny Wallace getting 4 of them. Allgaier went high there, but Kyle was not able to take advantage. Here comes Carl trying to go underneath on the low side, and he may get it done on Greg Biffle.
And he may not. Yeah, he may not. Well, he's going to try to use this 10 car as a pick there with Jason Leffler.
That 10 car is pretty good, though. Even though he doesn't have as fresh of tires, he's running good. Yeah. See Biffle now trying to get up on the outside of him, and he's not going to get it. Gets into it.
That helped Carl Edwards a lot there because Leffler had to get out of the throttle after getting a little tap.
Leffler's tires are 45 laps older than everybody else around him. He last pitted on lap 147, and we've only got 41 laps to go.
See Carl try to jump in the gas, see if he could clear him there. Still not able to make that pass.
Yeah, he got a good run off turn 2, though. He's going to get past him. He'll make this pass now and get clear off 4.
Comes Harvick to the inside.
I was just going to say, watch out for Kevin Harvick. He is trying to close also, and Logano's stuck behind Greg Biffle.
So if anybody make the bottom work, Kevin Harvick can.
And I've been watching for the last 100 or probably 75 laps that the 22 car's been out front. He's been on the bottom of the racetrack, and that's something that we didn't see earlier in the race, especially as Casey Kane was using that middle to high line to make it work as he led a good portion.
This 4-car gaggle is for position, and Harvick trying to punch his way back into the top 5, and it looks like he may finally do it. And if he can stay in the top 5, we mentioned it, it would give him his 123rd top 5 finish with Tommy Houston, most all time in Nationwide Series history. And he is off to the races, as they so to say. Joey Logano's gotten around the 10. Biffle's been the big loser in this whole mix. He's not been able to clear the 10. He finally gets to the low side. And here comes Bliss.
See, the 10's really struggling right now with those older tires that he has. It's really starting to show up.
So it looks like this is finally settled down. Bliss is going to try and make a little action in there as well. That would be for 8th position. And right behind them in 10th is Kelly Byers with that great run going despite all the damage. There's the Penske team running 1 and 2 on the racetrack with 35 laps to go. We're going to break out of the commercial because we've got another caution, our 11th. John West Townley has turned it around. The 61 also involved of Josh Wise. And it looks like 21's day might
turn
be
around
over.
and go. Oh, bud. In.
Yeah, I don't think that baby's going to move. Townley was running 20th at the time of the crash. There you can see what's the damage on the back end of Josh Wise of 61. And his Ford.
That's the second car for the 21. They tore one up in practice as well. You say you can't, like I said, Marty can't get going.
Here, let's take a look to show you what happened.
Oops.
Oh, man. He got plowed by the 35 of Jason Keller.
Makes you wonder what happened before this.
We had mentioned Townley had a career best finish back at Las Vegas at 15th.
See if more cars
get the 61 and the 34 happened behind this as they tried to slow down.
Tony Raines involved in the 34 as well. Maybe they were trying to check up and tangled with each other. We'll sort it all out when we come back here at Bristol.
Coming up in just a little while over on ESPN2, it's the Saturday Night Showdown at Bristol. Some of NASCAR's legendary drivers, legendary stock car drivers from here at Bristol, going to run a little 35-lap race in cars that are not theirs. Sterling Marlin, the defending winner, and the guys that are getting ready to go are some of the biggest names in stock car racing history. They're all gathered just outside the crossover gate, outside of turn 3. White hat there is David Pearson.
Oh, Silver Fox, man. The Silver Fox next to him, Rick Wilson.
And there
what
is
about
the man, the Iron Man, baby, from Asheville, North Carolina, Jack Ingram.
Gentlemen shaking hands there, Jack.
Tommy Houston standing there beside him. So they're not going to let him run them cheater cars like Andy and Sterling had last year.
Look at there's Larry Pearson on the right side, right behind the Silver
Larry
Fox.
Pearson. Yeah.
All these guys are getting ready to go. They're watching this race. They're seeing if they can learn anything because
the Iron Man.
They know they're doing a show, but they want to win too, guys.
Yeah.
There's Jimmy Hensley standing in the back there.
Now let's make this clear. This is a race these drivers are doing for charity. But imagine if you're a baseball fan, if you could see Hank Aaron standing at the plate again at Fulton County Stadium, or if you're a football fan and you could see Terry Bradshaw suit up at Three Rivers for the Steelers. Well, racing fans get to see some of the sport's greatest suit up at one of the sport's legendary tracks and go racing. And although it's an exhibition and it's just for fun, I can assure you one thing.
It's going to be, it's on.
It's
I talked to David Pearson. I was talking to Pearson going through the tunnel yesterday. I said, David, how you feel? He says, I feel good, Brad. I come to get me a trophy. I said, all right, the Silver Fox is back.
There you go. So we'll have that for you at 5:30 on ESPN2. But first, we have some unfinished business in this NASCAR Nationwide Series race. Let's see, 11 cautions, still got 28 laps to go. Marty, DJ, and Andy, I'm not sure we're done with the yellow flag yet.
Yeah, maybe not, but I tell you what, I'll let Brad tell Brad I'll let him come look at my trophy from last year. Talk about that cheating.
He was just jealous, right?
I know.
Hey, before there are guys that will do anything to get camera time, but this is new. I got to tell you, guess who got the lucky dog? You got it.
No.
Yeah.
Kenny Wallace.
Kenny Wallace,
Oh,
the
my
5th time. We got to have a new record and a new trophy at the end of the season because there he is. His 5 lucky dogs in the laps that he has done. He has done a great job of getting Hot Rod Grills on TV today. The hard way.
Hey, there's still time. He can get another one.
Way to go, Herm. All right, let's reset it for you. We're getting ready to go back to green. Brad Keselowski, Justin Allgaier. Then in row 2, Kyle Busch, Carl Edwards. Then Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano, Biffle, Bliss, then Byers and Sorensen. That is your top 10. We'll have 27 laps to go. And now, get ready for the bump and run if anybody can get close to those race leaders. And Carl Edwards trying to hang on this time.
Look at Allgaier now. He's got a good run off turn 2.
Whoa, and he runs up on him, and can he close it? He does. He takes the lead.
Man, he got a great restart. Anticipated that start perfectly.
And Kyle Busch into 3rd. So now that gives us our 10th different leader as Justin Allgaier goes to the front looking for his first ever career win. But Brad's coming back saying, son, not quite yet.
No, sir. He said, I've led this race all day. I want it back.
Yeah, these guys are not only teammates and battling for this race win, but they're battling for a championship too. So how hard do they race each other? Kyle Busch coming to the outside.
Leader, 12 car. Nice work.
Right now, Keselowski has the 5 bonus points for the most laps led, but he has not clinched it yet. Kyle Busch could change that, but he's got to get up front. Let's update you on the 21. John West Townley was treated and released from the infield care center. There you see the top 5 on your screen. And Allgaier, all of a sudden, has pulled about 3 car lengths over his teammate.
I was going to say before the restart, I was concerned that starting on the inside was going to take his chance away from winning this race, and it's worked out that that's the best thing that could happen to him.
He's going to be hard to beat now. He's got the fastest car on the racetrack, and even though he's got some heavy hitters behind him, I don't think they can beat him.
Well, he's coming up on some lap traffic. That's Michael Annett, who is 1 lap down already.
I think that could be the determining factor because this isn't going to be the only car he will encounter. Traffic could play into who's going to win this race.
What a difference in personalities in these 2 Penske drivers. I mean, Justin is, yes, sir, no, sir. What can I do for you, ma'am? How can I carry your bag, sir? You know, one of those. And we all know what Brad's all about. I'm going to move, and I'm going to take that position, and whatever it takes. And, boy, what a dichotomy between the 2. But here they are, running 1 and 2. And Dodge looking for their first win since August of 2007.
Yeah, 15 not giving him any breaks right here, making him go to the inside. Justin doing a nice job of clearing him off of turn 2, though.
But it has allowed Keselowski to close up as well, and Keselowski dispatches the 15 much quicker.
See, he closed into about a car length behind now.
We're down to 18 laps to go on this half-mile Bristol Motor Speedway track.
I want to get in your head a little bit, Dale, when you're at this position and you're Keselowski. Are you trying to work this racetrack and try different things even this late?
Yeah, you still are trying to do that. And we saw him earlier where he was running the bottom of the racetrack, really making that work. He's going to have a hard time making that pass on this 12 car, though, from the inside.
That's the battle for fifth. Joey Logano has it. Kevin Harvick wants it. Logano hugging the bottom. Harvick gives him a little nudge. Now Harvick goes high. Can't get it done. Gonna try the high side again. And Logano, for the first time today, somebody's been able to hold somebody off on the low line.
Yeah, so far. But here comes Harvick now. He's still working that outside. I think he really does want that outside groove. He's not going to try it on the bottom.
Let's show you the battle for the race lead, left side of your screen. So we've got two very good battles, and now look at the lap traffic involved. There's Michael Annett, Kenny Wallace. Kenny's the last car on that lead lap.
And they just got lapped again.
Just got lapped again,
so
I should say.
was expecting another caution to come out here shortly.
Allgaier working that high side. He had told us throughout practice, he said, my car likes it about a car length to a car length and a half up. And boy, that's where he is right now. In fact, about 2 car lengths up to be exact, as he is holding station now with about 11 laps to go this time by.
Andy, and I'm going to go back to something you just asked. I think Brad is really searching, too, to see where can I get a run here in these last couple of laps. And I think you're exactly right. He's searching around right now to see where he might be able to get up beside him.
Well, let me pose this question. If we come to bump and run time at the end, do you bump and run your own teammate?
Well, we've seen Keselowski do what it takes to win, and I think that'd be the last guy that he would do it to. But if it takes it to win, I believe he would do it. Actually, I think he would move him. I don't know if he'd wreck him, but he'd probably move him.
I think he hits him enough to get him out of the way. I think when it comes time to win, that that teammate thing's out the window. You don't want to wreck the guy.
Find out. Right here, these cars are locked together now.
Next time by, it'll be 9 laps to go.
The good thing is they put some distance on Kyle Busch, who's in third, so it'll let these 2 guys battle for the win.
Justin Allgaier looking for his first career victory. Keselowski looking for number 7, and here comes that lap traffic you were talking about.
Exactly. Dale was talking about it, and here it comes, and this is a couple of cars they've got to negotiate, but they've also got some other cars in front. I believe that will play into the finish.
Eric McClure gives way to both of them. The race leaders get past easily as the laps continue to wind down. This time by 7 to go.
7 more times, hit your mark.
Well, you know that Justin Allgaier's heart is just beating out of his chest right now. Here he is in a perfect position to win his first nationwide race at a great place like Bristol.
And Harvick still working Logano on the outside, or trying to get on the outside of Logano.
That is for 6th. You know, you talked about first-time wins, and it's getting so close on the left side. Here comes Keselowski. He slides up. He's got to get out. Slows down just momentarily.
And that lap traffic we talked about right ahead of him.
We've had 5 other drivers pick up their first career wins here at Bristol. Jeff Fuller, Bobby Labonte, Phil Parsons, Martin Truex Jr., and Rick Wilson, who you'll see in the Legends race. This time by, it'll be 4 to go.
Clear. Don't worry about it. Hit your marks up high.
I think Allgaier has to stay committed to that top side. Make Brad try to pass him down there.
Yeah, we're hearing that he's really tight off the corner, and that's what's giving him the most trouble. He's going to have to deal with it, though. He's just got a few laps to go.
Brad looks better off of 2. Justin looks better off of 4.
I think some of that may have to do with what you talked about with that shade off of turn 2, Marty. That may be helping him quite a bit there.
Next time by, just 2 laps to go. Look at the captain.
2 more, Justin.
The expression never changes. Parker Kligerman, fist in the air, saying, go get him. Kenny Wallace gets out of the way. Next time by, it'll be the white flag. Out of turn 4. Here he comes.
Everybody, here's your white.
Half a mile to go. It's been 939 days since a Dodge has tasted victory in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. And today, it looks like they may go 1-2. Hold on. Final corner. Through the turn. Justin Allgaier's going to do it. He gets his first Nationwide Series win.
And we got Logano in the wall back here.
Yeah! That's what I'm talking about right there, boys. You guys are awesome.
Well, What a great win for Justin Allgaier.
And I think they'll say that about their driver being awesome. What a great job he did here today.
Logano was running 5th. He does get it refired and finishes 14th.
Give it to him.
And the captain goes 1-2 for the first time in the Nationwide Series and the second time in his NASCAR career.
Kevin Harvick got that top 5 you were talking about. We might have to go back and see if there's a little contact there.
Yeah, and the answer to the question, would Keselowski bump his teammate? He didn't. He raced him clean to the finish. He gave it all he had, but he did not make any contact. He had a chance, though. He could have done it.
Very impressive.
His first win in his 43rd start. The 6th driver to pick up his first Nationwide Series victory at Bristol. He joins Ryan Newman and Kurt Busch as only the 3rd driver to win for Penske Racing. And he's already got the burnout process down pretty good. Not bad for a first-time winner. Not bad at all.
I think he's been practicing that in anticipation that first victory was going to come pretty soon.
For Penske Racing, their 10th Nationwide Series win, 2nd here at Bristol. And
I think this organization has been the most impressive so far in the early part of this season, as you see him climb out. But Penske Racing starting this 2nd team. They've got their 2 guys up there, 2nd and 3rd in the points.
All right, let's go back and show you what happened at the end of the race. There's Joey Logano out of the car because all we saw was the tail end of it. And here is Kevin Harvick, and this was 4-5. Whoa, boy, Kevin, bump and run, baby. Harvick gets 5th, and Logano gets dumped to 14th. Well, the guy said it in countdown. Until he starts pushing back, people are going to keep pushing him. For Harvick, his 123rd top 5, tying Tommy Houston. Let's hear from Kevin Harvick, Dave.
Well, Marty, he ended up with that 5th place spot, just debriefing a little bit with crew chief Ernie Cope right now. Kevin, what happened with the contact with Joey on those final lap?
I just raced with him, and you know, he kept chopping me, and I got in there and just got in the back of him a little bit, and hate that happened. Good day for our Ream Chevrolet, and you know, you just got to have the lane to race, so you got to do what you got to do.
Sounds like Bristol, guys.
So I'm sure that if you talk to Logano, you will get a different story, but we can been told he has chose not to comment at this time. Jamie Little asked him, and Joey obviously wants to take a few moments and gather his thoughts.
Now, sometimes in this situation, you're just better off not saying exactly what's on your mind at this time.
Well, Dr. Jerry Punch is caught up with Brad Keselowski.
Brad, how about the afternoon here for the Penske guys? 1-2, and what an effort for your teammate getting his first win.
Yeah, I'm real proud of Justin. He ran a good, hard race. Had the opportunity on the restart to, you know, use me up, and he did, but that's cool because, you know, I wrecked him here last year, so I had one coming, but you know, he's been running great, and I'm really happy for his team and really happy for Roger Penske. You know, just a great effort for our Nationwide Series. I hope everybody back home is really proud of that one at Penske Racing, so we sure are, and glad to have another solid finish with the Discount Tire Ruby Tuesday Dodge. This gets us right where we need to be in points, and I'm sure we're closing in on there on that point lead, so I feel really good about our effort and feel really good about how we're running. Really proud of this team.
There was a debate upstairs, Andy and DJ talking about if you could have gotten back to Justin because it's for the win, even though your teammates, would you rub a little bit?
Well, I did get back to him. I had the opportunity to, and you know, just erred on the side of caution. Last thing I need is to wreck either one of us. That's not what our program needs. It's still a relatively new program, and we need to get solid finishes and wins. So I hope everybody's happy and proud with that at Penske Racing, and put on a good show there for the fans. So we're proud to be here.
Great job today.
Thank you.
Marty?
Well, Doc, and you can tell him he has narrowed the points gap to 26 between he and Carl Edwards. Carl finishing in the 4th position has 670 points. And Justin Allgaier will move into 3rd. Well, there is victory lane. Let's go to our Hellman's Victory Circle.
was just on the verge of winning as crew chief Chad Walter gives Justin Allgaier a hug. Justin, I was chatting with Chad this morning in the hauler, and he said, I don't want to jinx us. He didn't want to say the word win, but you got the sense that he felt you guys were ready to win. What gave you the sense that today was going to be the day?
These guys right here, Verizon Dodge guys are awesome. I just got to thank Lowell McAdam and everybody at Verizon Wireless. They came on board with somebody from the Midwest that was trying to make it in this industry, and I couldn't be happier to be here. We got to thank all of our sponsors. I mean, we got the best sponsors in the world. I mean, we got Dodge behind us, Penske Engine Power, the guys at the shop. Man, I'll tell you what, this is an unbelievable win. We want to thank the fans. I mean, this is why we do what we do. That battle with Brad at the end was awesome, and I couldn't have been happy to see 2 Penske cars up there running for the win.
Last season, Rookie of the Year. This season, running for the championship. You get your win early in the season. You raced your teammate to get it. What does this first victory in the Nationwide Series mean to you?
Feels pretty awesome. I have to admit, it's pretty unbelievable. But like I said before, it's all to these guys. I mean, great pit stops all day long. We had a great car in practice, and I screwed up qualifying and didn't get the run we really needed, and we had to start 30th. But Chad told me, he said, if you're there all day long and you push it really hard, you'll be in victory lane. And we're here, so we got to thank, again, I want to thank Verizon Wireless and Mobile One and Snap-on and Mazak and PPG and all of our associate sponsors of the team. I mean, they're the ones that keep us running, and just, this is unbelievable. I hope this is the first of many to come this year. That's all I can say. Thank God, too. I mean, this is an unbelievable day for me. God's given me a lot of good doors to walk through, and I'm just glad to be in the position where I'm at.
Justin Allgaier wins at Bristol. Marty?
And he will explain when we get back on 5:30 on how he is going to give L.D. Ottinger the pole for our showdown race. While we've got a chance, let's give you the ticket to the race, and we've got a number of dates that we can show you. All you have to do is log on to NASCAR.com/tickets. Next stop, 2 weeks at Nashville Super Speedway on April 3rd, then on to Phoenix, Texas, Talladega, Richmond, and all the way down through Kentucky through the month of June. That's going to wrap up our race here at Bristol Motor Speedway, but make sure to switch over to ESPN2 for the Saturday night showdown that will be going shortly. And Monday, check out the live 2-hour premiere of Dancing with the Stars at 8 Eastern on ABC. Congratulations once again to our race winner, Justin Allgaier, as he becomes a first-time winner in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Well, actually, we'll see you in a couple of minutes if you switch over to ESPN2. For our entire ESPN on ABC crew, I'm Marty Reed. Till we meet again.